Welcome to Charlotte to M.H. Rourke Stadium for tonight's varsity football season opening game, where it'll be your West Brunswick Trojans hosting the Socastee Braves from Socastee, South Carolina. I'm Sam Hickman. This is my partner, Jay Combs. Welcome, Jay.
Welcome, Sam.
This is your ATMC Game of the Week, and tonight's game is brought to you by ATMC, J.P. Russ & Sons, Financial Services of South Carolina, Guy C. Lee, the Grisset Town and Longwood Fire and Rescue, Haunted Trail, the Fuzzy Peach, and last but not least, the Doghouse 2. Jay, last week, West Brunswick competed in the annual BB&T High School Football Jamboree in Wilmington, came up a touchdown short against perennial 4A powerhouse Hoggard. What did you see from West Brunswick last week in that game against Hoggard?
I saw a lot of running on the ground, and most of that running on the ground was by Bubba McCray, number 30. He's 5'9", 187-pound senior. He had over 1,000 yards, Sam, when he was a sophomore. Last year, he got off to a tough start because he got hurt. So he came back at the end of the year and picked up where he was when he was a 10th grader, rushing for 400 yards over the last few weeks of the season, including 220 yards in their playoff loss against Terry Sanford. This kid's legit. He's big, he's strong, and he's quick. And last week, against a real good Hoggard defense, he made him look bad, particularly when he gets to the outside. If he gets daylight, he's gone. He's good, and you'll see him carry the ball a lot tonight.
And Jay, West Brunswick coming off of a 5-7 year in which they lost in the first round of the playoffs at Terry Sanford, who was the number 1 seed in last year's playoffs. Socastee, another team coming off a tough year. Socastee's had some really good teams in recent years. Last year was not one of those years. Only won 2 ball games, and head coach Doug Ealing for Socastee. He's in his 4th year at Socastee, and this is year 4 of the rebuild there.
Well, it is, and they're continuing to rebuild. They're still rebuilding from 2013 when they had Hunter Renfro, who was the all-everything quarterback down there and is now a wide receiver and doing real well at Clemson. So they've been slowly but steadily getting bigger, getting better, and Coach Ealing hopes that tonight it's going to show up on the field. If it does, they've got a real good defensive linebacker. He's number 36. His name is Zach Shear. He's 5'9", $180. He's a senior. He's a linebacker who also played running back. He was the leading tackler per game in the Grand Strand last year. He averaged almost 14 tackles a game, 4 sacks, a couple of forced fumbles, and an interception. He's being looked at as a collegiate recruit, and I know Coach Ealing is looking for him to provide some leadership to an otherwise fairly young and yet rebuilding Socastee squad.
And Jay, for West Brunswick, looking through the lenses of the entire season, they open with Socastee tonight, but it's always a challenge for West Brunswick, who competes in a difficult Mid-Eastern 3A, 4A conference with the likes of Hoggard, Laney, New Hanover. In year 2 of Kelly Williamson's tenure as the head coach of West Brunswick, what do you think what can we expect from the Trojans this year?
Well, Kelly keeps talking about last year they weren't strong enough, and this year they're stronger. They've got more players, they've got more depth, and looking at some of the skill position players, we mentioned about McCray, but if you look in the defensive backfield, you're going to see a kid who was first team all conference last year, and Tariq Thomas, 5'9", 180-pound senior, 90 tackles from his cornerback position, 3 interceptions. He's being recruited by some colleges, and whoever gets him is going to get a good one. I know Kelly thinks a lot about him as a human being, and I think he thinks an awful lot about him as a football player for the Trojans.
Well, Jay, we spoke earlier, and you mentioned there's just something about high school football, and when those lights come on Friday night, we're definitely excited to be here. It was a fun basketball season. We're looking forward to this football season. We thank you all for joining us tonight. Enjoy the game. And here come the Trojans, Jay, for tonight's season opener. The West Brunswick High School Trojans host the Socastee Braves. Socastee out of South Carolina, coming off a 2-9 season, your West Brunswick Trojans in 2015 were 5-7 and were handed a defeat in the first round of the state playoffs last year at Terry Sanford. West Brunswick knocked off Socastee a year ago, 20-13, down in South Carolina. I'm Sam Hickman. I'll be covering the play-by-play tonight, and this is my partner, Jay Combs, our color man. Welcome, Jay.
Sam, good to be here. My first ever West Brunswick football game, and I'm pretty excited about it. Not like you, though, because you haven't slept for, what, 3 months? How old's that baby?
Let's see. He was a month. He's actually a month today on the 19th.
Okay, well, 1 month you haven't slept, and 3 weeks of that was because of this game.
That's right. That's right. My son's arrival is the second biggest highlight of my month, with the first obviously being tonight's season opener here on ATMC TV.
I didn't realize you, Mr. Hickman, had all the experience here as a West Brunswick Trojan football player.
I don't know if I would call it experience. I was the kicker my junior year in 2004, but our team did make the third round of the playoffs that year, which was the furthest we've advanced in quite some time, so at least I can hang my hat on that.
And is that one guy? Now I know your brother was on that team, right?
My brother was on that team. He was a quarterback / wide receiver, very Cordell Stewart-esque.
And who's the other guy? Pee-wee?
Peanut.
Peanut.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris Peanut Bland.
Well,
that's almost blasphemous around here, Jay. Not knowing Peanut's name.
Will Peanut show up tonight, you think?
Peanut is actually a college football coach at Kennesaw State.
Then he won't be here tonight.
For the season. Jay, it looks like West Brunswick's going to be kicking off tonight. Spoke with Kelly Williamson, West Brunswick's second-year head coach. He stressed the importance of the kicking game tonight because, as you know, oftentimes in high school football scrimmages, there are no live kicking. So the kicking game will be a key factor in tonight's game.
Well, this kid, Brandon Worley, does the kicking for West. 6'3", 228 pounds. He's a big boy. Kicked really well last week at the BB&T Classic.
That kick's going to land about the 15. It's scooped up by Socastee. Ball carrier tries to turn the corner, but he's brought down by number 9, Kaysen Medford, a 5'9", 180-pound junior, and Socastee will take over. 1st and 10. Looks like the ball will be marked about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it was Kenny Solomon that returned for the Braves. He's a 6', 145-pound sophomore. He'll have to grow a little bit, and probably will over the next 4 years. But good takedown by West, and let's see what they got defensively tonight.
Jay, well, we've been told repeatedly to keep our eyes on strong safety number 8, Tariq Thomas. You know, he plays several different positions on the field, but I think you can just classify that kid as a football player.
Yeah, he's an athlete and a real good football player, and he's going to cause some problems defensively tonight.
Socastee starts off 5 wide. Quarterback drops back, nothing there, so he runs around the left edge. He's tackled for about a yard or 2 gain. Socastee will have a 2nd and long coming up.
I think that may have been Bryson Allen on the tackle. It's a long way from up here, and we have a monitor, but the sun's right in it right now.
Jay, not exactly football weather tonight, is it?
No, my gosh, no. This is beach weather.
Jay, the first play of the game, Socastee came out with an empty backfield and 5 wideouts. You can expect to see them in the shotgun most of the time. Looks like that'll be some kind of procedure penalty on Socastee as a flag stops the play, a whistle blows it dead. Here comes the call from the referee. It will be a false start on Socastee. That'll back them up 5 yards.
Well, not a good way for Socastee to start. The first running play, they use yardage. Their second running play, they pick up a penalty. The quarterback for the Braves is Hunter Illing. He's 6'1", 190-pound junior, also the nephew of the head coach for Socastee.
And Jay, head coach for Socastee in his 4th year, Doug Illing. Speaking of kickers, he was a kicker and punter at Wake Forest University under then head coach Al Groh, who later became the head coach at the University of Virginia.
Kicking, no matter if you're playing high school, college, professional, very, very important facet of the game. Special teams, very important.
Socastee with a 2nd and about 13. They throw the bubble screen, and West Brunswick sniffs it out pretty well. but a missed tackle there by number 10, Owen McDowell, and then the Socastee ball carriers run out of bounds by who else? Number 8, Tariq Thomas, with his first action on the defensive side of the ball.
You see a little bit of the lateral quickness that Thomas has, really covering about half the field to get over there and help knock that ball carrier out of bounds. McDowell is playing in the defensive secondary. He's also going to start at quarterback tonight. A lot of these guys go both ways.
Jay, looks like it's going to be third and about 3 for Socastee on this opening drive. As you know, third down defense, always important.
Well, third down is very much the story of any football game. If you win third down, you generally are going to do real well in that game.
Socastee with 3 wideouts out to the left and a wide receiver out to the right. Looks like a hard count, almost drew the West Brunswick defender off sides. Illing looks to the sideline to get the play. We're ready for the snap. West Brunswick looks to be bringing pressure off the edge.
And too much time. Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe offsides on the defense there. It looked like number 5, Bryson Allen, may have jumped a little early, and he did. And
he was
those
sneaking
are
off.
killers. Jumped off sides, 3rd and 3. That'll give the Braves an automatic first down, and they'll have a 1st and 10.
Sam, I thought we could get at least halfway into the game before I say what I'm going to say, which is simply this. Most football games are lost, not won. They're lost because of mistakes, turnovers, fouls like that. They drive coaches crazy, and I know Kelly Williamson right now is not happy about that.
Socastee ball carrier looked like number 25, Edward Tucker. He was stuffed in the backfield there. Looked like he lost yardage on that play. Jay, nice penetration by the West Brunswick.
Yeah, Easton Simmons coming from his cornerback position, wrapped him up east to west that time. Simmons with a nice tackle, a 5'11", 165-pound junior, and a good wrap on that first down attempt.
Jay, it seems to be a trend in all levels of football right now, the no-huddle offense. I feel like it's more common than the huddle now, and Socastee employs that strategy as well. Illing drops back to pass. He rolls out to his left, throws one down the left sideline, and there's no receiver in sight.
My guess,
maybe we get an intentional grounding penalty there. There was no receiver in the area, but no flag on the play.
My guess is, what are we, a few minutes into the first quarter of the first game of the year, and not everybody's on the same page in terms of the playbook, right? So they had a wideout that was running across the middle. He was looking for somebody to go down and out. Nobody there. Sets up third down for the Braves.
Jay, that may have been a classic. He zigged when he should have zagged.
There you go.
3rd and long here. Socastee converted its last third down via a penalty on the Trojans. Illing drops back to pass.
A lot of time.
He rolls out to his right, lost one across the middle, and is caught down the field, and the Braves ball carrier is tackled down at the Trojans' 29-yard line. That was number 5, Deshaun Myers, for Socastee on the reception, and 2 third downs so far for Socastee, and they've converted both. One via a penalty, one via a long pass.
You cannot give that much time to any quarterback. If he can sit back there and look, eventually somebody's going to pop open, and that's what happened on that play when number 5, Deshaun Myers, opened up across the middle.
Jay, it's not often when the defense rushes forward and there's 7 men in coverage, you typically don't see someone get that open. Maybe a missed assignment there by the Trojans. Bubble screen for Socastee, and it's caught, and it looks like it'll be close to a first down over at the Trojans, about 20-yard line, and it will be a first down for Socastee. I like what I see from Socastee quarterback Hunter Illing so far.
Very poised and has made a couple of good throws for sure. And you were talking about this no huddle. It puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You know, he gets his signal from the side, but to get everybody gathered and organized is a hard thing to do. Quarterbacks have to show a lot of leadership when they run this kind of offense.
A whistle stops the action.
Be reminded, ladies and gentlemen, that on Thursday night, our JV team will play at home against Myrtle Beach High School.
1st and 10 here for Socastee as the ball's back in play. Snap to Illing. He hands off up the middle for a good game. And number 25, Edward Tucker, is brought down by a host of Trojan defenders. About 8.5 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Again, this is the season opener. West Brunswick had a scrimmage game against Latta High School, which was, of course, where Kelly Williamson was the head coach for several years. And they also played Hoggard in the BB&T Jamboree as Socastee lines up for his second down play. Looks like another handoff to Tucker, and he's got running room. Makes a defender miss, and he dives into the end zone for a touchdown. Exactly 8 minutes left here in the first quarter, so 4 minutes into the game, and Socastee, with an impressive opening drive, leads West Brunswick 6-0.
Well, the offensive line for Socastee is having a very good game of it thus far, really getting good penetration, beating West off the ball, creating some space inside. A lot of that is because of the passing from Illing. When you complete passes, you allow runs to happen much more frequently and much more effectively.
After the game.
Let's see what happens with special teams on this one.
The extra point looks like that was pushed out to the right. So Socastee fails on the point after attempt, but leads West Brunswick 6-0, 4 minutes in to the first quarter, the season opener.
Socastee 6, West Brunswick 0.
Well, a couple of mistakes that time by West, and Socastee took advantage of it. The critical third down penalty, which turned the ball or allowed Socastee to keep the ball, then a couple of good passes by Illing, and then some strong running down the end, which capped off with Tucker's 8-yard touchdown run, gives Socastee a 6-0 lead here early in Q1 tonight.
And Jay, tonight's ATMC Game of the Week brought to you by several sponsors, including JP Russ & Sons. Serving Brunswick County since 1947, JP Russ & Sons has become the local leader in all your heavy equipment needs. Paving, grading, clearing, drainage, and much more. They will haul any material, even rock. Give JP Russ & Sons a call at 754-6023.
Sam, you will not find a better family, a better man than J.P. Russ. The fact that he can haul rocks is just icing on the cake. But
what can't he do?
he can do pretty much anything. It's very kind of J.P. Russ and all the other generous corporations, companies, business people in the Charlotte area have helped make these telecasts possible. We're greatly appreciative of it.
Up to our cheerleaders today. They're out here. Yeah, make some noise, cheerleaders. All right. Also, our band is in the house tonight, and our girls' dance team.
West Brunswick gets the kickoff.
That is Thomas.
Thomas gets it. Looks like he brings it out to about the Trojans' own 20-yard line.
Tariq Thomas can run, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him a few times tonight offensively getting a touch of the ball.
Jay, what can we expect from the Trojans with their first possession of the season coming up?
Well, if it's like they were against Hoggard last week, they were definitely trying to establish the run, which they did. They had 200 yards on the ground against Hoggard. They only played 2 10-minute quarters, and it featured, of course, Anthony Bubba McCrae.
Speaking of Tariq Thomas, looks like Thomas, opening carry of the season, he carries around the left side for a sizable chunk there. Looks like
makes it a second down and about 1.
Looks like it'll be a second and short, Jay, and it won't be the last you see of Thomas out of the Trojans' backfield.
No, I doubt it. And they like to run that I think some people call it a jet sweep, or they like to get the ball to the outside. These guys are pretty quick, Thomas, McCrae, and if they can get to the edge and get some daylight, then they got a couple of gears that they can bring into it and run real well. He picked up 10 on that, Sammy. He got a first down.
Looks like it will be a first down for the Trojans. And Jay, I think, speaking briefly with Coach Williamson, the more times they can get Tariq Thomas and Anthony Bubba McCrae touches, the better their chances will be. As that's number 21 coming around the edge. Number 21, Tony Williams, coming around the edge, but he's pulled down for a short gain.
Williams, your ball carrier.
The PA announcer says that is Tony The Rock Williams. And if he's good enough to get a nickname like The Rock, and he's only in the 11th grade, he must be a pretty tough guy.
I will warn you, Jay, West Brunswick PA announcer Jimmy Caraway, who doubles as the West Brunswick wrestling coach, does have a tendency to bestow his own nicknames upon.
I like this guy.
West Brunswick ball carrier Tony Williams runs into a wall of Socastee tacklers and carries it out to the Trojans on 31-yard line, where it'll bring up about a 3rd and 7.
It's probably a passing situation for a team which would rather not pass. Again, up front in the trenches where football games are won and lost. So far, Socastee having their way with penetration.
On a 3rd and 7, the Trojans elect to hand it off, and they hand it off to, I think that was Bubba McCrae's first carry of the night, Jay, and it looks like he'll be a little short. It will be 4th down as he carries it out past the Trojans' 35-yard line to about the 37. It'll be 4th and 1, and it looks like the Trojans are sending... Oh, looks like the Trojans are bringing in the big boys, maybe some kind of heavy package. I see number 44, fullback Russ Gore, enter the game. Maybe a handoff to McCrae with Gore as the lead blocker here.
Gore's a popper, let me tell you. So he's an excellent blocker and an excellent defensive player as well.
Jay, you can also look for a potential hard count to maybe draw the defense off sides, but the Trojans don't. They hand it off, and it's going to be close. It's going to be very close.
Malik King, your ball carrier.
And it is a 1st down for the Trojans to keep their opening drive alive. Boy, Jay, what a conversion. Down 6-0 early. You go for it from your own 37, 38-yard line. Boy, momentum could have changed quickly on that play. Big conversion.
Well, I think that's a real vote of confidence by Williamson and his team.
That looks like number 24, Malik King on the carry.
Malik King
picks up a couple.
Big pickup right there.
So there is a bevy of running backs on this year's West Brunswick team. King is a senior and a big guy at 220 pounds, so gives you a nice different look from the littler but faster, quicker guys.
Jay, I think one thing we can draw from the early going here
Bingo.
is that West Brunswick has several different guys who will carry the ball.
There he goes.
Including Anthony Bubba McCrae, who scampers for about 56 yards for the Trojans' first touchdown of the season.
That is vintage Bubba. That's exactly what Hager got a taste of last week. If the kid gets the daylight, it's showtime, Sam. He's really quick, good instinctual runner, and that time offensive line really drove out and gave McCrae a nice hole, and he doesn't need a lot of a hole, but that was a good one, and he made the most of it.
Jay, I'm not sure Anthony Bubba McCrae was touched on that play, and that's what West Brunswick wants to do. They want to pound you in the trenches. They want to run the ball, and then boom, just because they're a running team doesn't mean that they're not a home run hitting team. Worley lines up to kick the extra point. The kick is up, and Worley splits the uprights right between the flagpoles behind the goalpost, and West Brunswick takes an early lead over the visiting Socastee Braves 7-6. And Jay, we saw a couple carries from Tariq Thomas on that drive. We saw him make a couple tackles on the first defensive possession. He is one of 2 of tonight's senior spotlights. Again, he is senior Tariq Thomas. He plays strong safety on the defensive side. As you saw in the first drive, he carries the ball, so he's a strong safety and a running back. He wears jersey number 8. He also plays on the West Brunswick Trojans' highly successful basketball team, and obviously he stars on the gridiron here. His plans after high school, Tariq wants to play college football, and based on what we've seen early, I don't think that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, he's got a good chance except for his favorite college.
His favorite college, of course, the Ohio State University Buckeyes.
Shouldn't that be like the University of North Carolina or the North Carolina State or something like that?
Urban Meyer's worked wonders there in Ohio State. And Tariq, he'll probably grow a little bit in college if he does play, and he will be aided by that because his favorite food is steak, and his favorite movie is The Fast Five.
I get the Fast Five part. He could join up and be the Fast Six, right? So Tariq Thomas is a wonderful all-around athlete, and I remember him, of course, very well from playing basketball, and he's an outstanding defender and was a real contributor to the West Brunswick Trojans men's basketball team. But certainly football is his game. I think he's going to concentrate on that exclusively this year, and wish him all the luck in the world, and hope that one of those colleges, and maybe it would be the Ohio State University, would come knocking on Tariq's door.
And Jay, another Trojan who a dual sport athlete is Taverine. He will be featured later on in the broadcast as our number 2 senior spotlight. We mentioned during basketball season, he was a bruiser. Talk about a bullet in China shop in the paint. And I've never seen him in action, but he's apparently quite the football player.
Well,
probably another West Brunswick Trojan who will go on to play in college after high school.
That style and approach probably matches up better on the football field than it does on the hard courts. But Vereen is a tough guy, 6'3", 250, kind of the Jeff to Tariq Thomas's Mutt on this team.
That's right. And Jay, how important was it for West Brunswick to answer that quickly after an early touchdown from the Braves?
Very important, and I think Williamson made a statement with this stream right there. This team knows that their coach believes in them. They needed less than a yard. It was a dangerous place to do it, but he had confidence in those kids. They pulled it off, and they went on down the field and scored.
Worley's high end-over-end kick fielded at about the 16-yard line. Socastee returner brought down at about the 30, and a late flag comes in. Possibly a face mask, Jay?
I don't know. There was a lot of people kind of grabbing there at the end, so we'll have to see how it goes. Special teams, Sam, and you were a special team player. You know how important it looks like it's against Socastee.
Jay, that was a holding penalty called against the Braves, and it looks like that took place about where the ball carrier was brought down. So Socastee will start this drive from either its own 20 or even inside. One of another sponsor for tonight's game is Community Finance of South Carolina. Community Finance of South Carolina offers personal loans and title loans with the most competitive rates in the area. Located right across the border in Little River, Community Finance provides quick approval so you can have cash in minutes.
Well, any place that'll give you cash in minutes is a good place to go. So,
I need to find this place.
Yes, indeed. So thanks so much to the fine people at Community Finance of South Carolina for being one of our sponsors here tonight.
Socastee will in fact start its drive at its own 20-yard line as a wide receiver comes in motion. Illing takes the snap, hands it off, but number 62, I think that was Vereen who initially disrupted that play. It was Taverine who penetrated into the backfield, couldn't quite bring Tucker down in the backfield, but Casey Holler, an impressive young defensive lineman for West Brunswick, makes the tackle. Socastee gained about 3.5 on that play, so they'll have a 2nd and 7 coming up.
He had a little help that time from Russ Gore, who's been playing varsity football. This is his 3rd year. He's just a junior. Really, really good player.
Socastee looks like it'll have enough yardage for another first down, and Jay, Socastee having a lot of success getting the ball quickly out to the perimeter and making one guy miss and getting up the field.
Yeah, that's a good observation on your part, Sam. And Illing does a nice job of doing exactly that, not holding on to the ball, waiting, but just, getting it out to an open receiver and letting them do the work after they make the catch.
Looks like that'll be a neutral zone infraction on the Trojans. Jay, 1st and 5 is not a good spot to be in if you're on the defense. It's going to be tough enough to stop this Socastee team. You certainly don't want to help them with penalties in the early down situations or any time for that matter.
You're so very right. If you're an offensive coordinator, you can make a living on 1st and 5. Right? It just opens up a lot of different things that you can do. Not that you're going to waste a down, but you do have a chance to maybe take a few more chances with this down and distance situation than you would at 1st and 10.
Jay, I understand that this is a new season, different personnel, but this does not look like a 2-9 team a year ago. Socastee been very impressive in the early going.
They're getting better. Which has been their game plan.
Illing fakes the handoff. He drops back to pass, fires a shot across the middle of the field, and is caught and the runner's got room, but he's tripped up at the Trojans' 41-yard line. But what a strike by Illing across the middle of the field, and some impressive after-the-catch moves there by the wide receiver. Another chunk of yardage for the Braves.
Once again, a very nice throw by Illing, but the reason he got to make that very nice throw was that he had all day to throw. And if you give quarterbacks, and I don't care what level, if you give quarterbacks that much time, they're going to find somebody open. The defensive backs cannot contain that long.
Illing takes the snap. He hands it off to number 2, who's got some running room up the middle, but he's brought down by number 41, Jimmy Cochran, on the play. Much to the delight of Jimmy's parents, Jim and Michelle, sitting about 4 rows down from us tonight.
Well, that's a good hit by Cochran, but with Socastee having their way going through the air, it makes running the football so much easier.
Jay, I'll tell you another thing this no-huddle, hurry-up offense does. It's difficult for the Trojans to make substitutions on defense, so you've got a lot of tired defenders out there, but it didn't show on that play as the Trojans stuffed the ball carrier for a loss.
And that looked like number 84, Tyler Long. It's a 6-foot, 190-pound junior, and that's another good observation. With the no-huddle, it is more difficult to make changes in that defensive alignment.
Jay, I think one thing we can say early is one thing the Trojans have to do to be successful on defense is they're going to have to get some pressure on Illing, or it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure kills.
Looked like a wide receiver jumped on that play, but no penalty was called. The hitch is completed, and the Socastee wide receiver carries it all the way down to the Trojans' 21-yard line. Jay, another 3rd and long conversion for the Braves.
Well, and that was a tough break because it looked like where he had received the ball, if they would have been able to make the tackle, probably would have not allowed him to get a first down. In the field position they're in, they probably would have went for it on 4th down anyway. But
1st and 10 coming up from the Trojans' 21-yard line. Tucker's the ball carrier.
Oh. Hello.
Driven into the ground by number 62, Taverine. And we have a Trojan down on the play. Jay, interesting play as the ball carrier was tackled. A Socastee ball carrier ended up with the ball somehow running down the left sideline, but the play had already been blown dead. Hard to see who that Trojan is down. Maybe Casey Holler, but hard to see from up here.
Yeah.
If any of you young people are looking for a spotter job to help us see the numbers from all the way up here, come on out to our next home game.
Pay is excellent.
That's right.
It is excellent, let me tell you.
I've got $1 in my pocket right now for the first applicant. Jay, on a warm night in August, again, it doesn't feel like football weather, but it is excellent weather to check out Fuzzy Peach of Shallotte. In the mood for something sweet? Head on into the Fuzzy Peach, right in the middle of Shallotte, on Main Street. At the Fuzzy Peach, you can pick up a cup, swirl any combination of delicious yogurt flavors, and top it off with your favorite toppings. The Fuzzy Peach, located in the Shallotte Plaza.
That might very well be the pay for the spotter. I mean, how good would it get to have that spotter go to Fuzzy Peach on Sam's credit card and just get what they want?
I think they may have to ask Sam's wife about that.
Well, and notice I didn't say Jay's credit card because I know what Jay's wife is going to say. And who is that coming off, Sam? 67, 57, which would be, I'm not sure. It's early in the season, and we're working out the kinks with rosters.
We got a 2nd down for the Braves. Looks like it's going to be 2nd and about 13.
So we apologize. We don't know who the injured West Brunswick player is, but
we'll check on that.
Not putting a lot of pressure on that right leg, so let's hope he's going to be okay.
2nd and long for Socastee. Illing drops back, completes the hitch. The ball carrier is pushed out of bounds, a little shy of the first down marker, but another good chunk of yardage for Socastee.
Well, let me tell you, this kid Illing came into the game with the reputation of being a pretty good thrower, but all of a sudden he's turned into a much better than pretty good thrower. Getting time and receivers running good routes.
Ailing gets a look from the defense, looks over to the sideline to get the call. Socastee with 3 wideouts, line over to the right, a single wideout to the left. Ball's handed off to Tucker, who's got a lot of room in the middle of the field, but he's hit hard there and driven down at the Trojans' 14-yard line. Jay, looks like he's going to be a couple yards short. A decision time here for Socastee. 4th down, Jay, you got to expect them to go for this here with about 45 seconds remaining here in the opening stanza.
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and try to make the 4th. That was an excellent play that time by LeGarrette Jeffries, a big guy at 260 pounds. You might call timeout and think about this if you're.
Looks like a timeout. We'll stop the clock with 36 and 9/10 left in the first quarter. Socastee used that timeout. Jay, we would like to thank another one of tonight's sponsor during this timeout. Guy C. Lee is your one-stop shop for all your construction and building needs. Why shop at a big store, big box store, when you can shop local with Guy C. Lee? They have an experienced and friendly staff trained to help you out with anything. Give Guy C. Lee a call at 754-7100.
Now let's talk about the Tay Vereen. He's our other senior spotlight in tonight's game. He's a right tackle on the defensive end. Wears number 62 for the West Brunswick Trojans. He's a basketball player and a football player, of course. Plans to go to college. His favorite sports team are the Chiefs. He loves to eat everything, a man of my own heart. And his favorite movie is The Wood.
I actually have seen The Wood, but I think that movie may be older than Tay Vereen.
And I haven't seen The Wood, but I'm going to go look it up on the Netflix.
Well, Tariq Thomas and Tay Vereen are obviously excellent football players, but I do question their movie choices. Ailing takes the 4th down snap. He hands it off to Tucker, and it looks like Tucker's going to be short. It looked like he had a little opening, Jay, but he lost his footing. And he will be short of the 1st down marker, and the Trojans will take over 1st and 10.
Oh, that's a good.
At their own 14-yard line. Wow. What a stop there by West Brunswick.
You know, I talked earlier about football games are usually lost, not won, but games that are won, generally speaking, there are some big plays that occur during that game. We saw one earlier tonight with Thomas's run. You saw a good 4th down stop in deep in West Brunswick territory by the defense that time. Gives them some confidence and gives a West Brunswick offensive team a chance to get going on this down.
McCray takes the handoff from McDowell, runs over off the right tackle. He stopped for a short gain. The clock is ticking here at the end of the first quarter. Jay, that may be the last play of the first quarter. We'll see how big of a hurry the Trojans want to get in. I think they may let the clock just tick down, and they may just go into the second quarter with a 1-point lead, 7-6.
You know, Sam, the play before when the unidentified West player got hurt, they had to take a timeout. Probably helped them. Gave them a little break to come after that 4th down, and here we go.
Shows how much I know, Jay. The Trojans got a snap off there before the clock ran out. Tariq Thomas looks like on the buck sweep there. Plenty enough yardage for the 1st down. And the clock shows 0.0. And the refs have not signaled the end of the quarter, and they do right now. The Trojans in the quarter with a 1st down carry from Thomas. And after 12 minutes of play in the season opener, your West Brunswick Trojans 7, the Socastee Braves 6.
More is better. And when you build your own bundle with high-speed internet from ATMC, you get more of what you love. More sharing, more streaming, more blasting, more dancing, more freedom. And more speed from ATMC means you can do it all at once without missing a beat. Build your own bundle with high-speed internet up to 200 meg digital cable and reliable home phone from ATMC. You choose, you save with ATMC.
Jay, we're back at the start of the second quarter here. West Brunswick leads 7-6. 1st and 10. Carry on the end around or the speed sweep. Nice chunk of yardage for West Brunswick there. But that was DeMonte Daniels. This is a sophomore running back / slot. Heard before the game they really love Daniel's speed and expected him to get some carries tonight. That was his first carry, and he picks up about 5 yards.
Yeah, and he's only a 10th grader, so it looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. One thing for sure, you can't teach quick. You either are or you are not. He looks like he is, and there's a big hole up the middle.
Jay, guess who? Anthony Bubba McCray with the carry right between the tackles, and he carries it all the way out to the Trojans' 49-yard line. Kelly Williamson has got to like what he's seen on offense thus far.
Well, the big guys up front are starting to make a difference. Some good blocking at the point of attack, and of course McCray is a quality back. Is going to take advantage of it.
McCray takes the handoff. He carries around the right side. Looks like the slot receiver there lost his block, but McCray still carries it out near the first down marker, and it looks like it will be a first down, Jay.
Yeah, you know
West Brunswick getting chunks of yardage on the ground here.
You know, McCray's only 5'9", 187, but that is a rugged 187 pounds, and so when you hit Bubba, you've been hit. And he's not an easy guy to bring down.
And, Jay, one thing you notice about Bubba McCray is he's always falling forward when he gets tackled. Very rarely do you see him get driven backwards, and that allows him to pick up extra yards at the end of runs.
Absolutely. Leg strength and that innate ability, and that's a good cut right there.
That's Daniels again, and, boy, Jay, if he wasn't tripped up there was daylight.
20, Daniels.
Let me tell you, Kelly Williamson's got a lot of different kids to whom he can hand off the football. And certainly this young guy, DeMonte Daniels, is another one. Only a 10th grader.
Jay Williamson is early dispelling the myth that, this is a one-man backfield with Anthony McCray. Certainly he's the bell cow. A late flag. The carry would have been enough for first down yardage. But it looks like it's probably holding on West Brunswick, and that's a killer penalty, Jay. Instead of 1st and 10, at about Socastee's 20, it looks like it's going to be probably about a 2nd 10 or 12 here.
Well, that's one of those mistakes that we talked about early in the game, that you lose when you make those kind of penalties, those kinds of errors. Some physical penalties are going to happen. Some physical mistakes are, and so are mental, but you certainly want to try to keep them at a minimum. And generally speaking, the teams that make the least amount of mistakes and come up with more big plays, they win the game.
McDowell takes the snap. He hands to Thomas. Thomas has got room around the left side. The 20, the 10, the 5, crosses the goal line. No hankies on the field. West Brunswick touchdown. How about that senior spotlight?
Did not take Tyreek long.
Tariq Thomas has now tied Bubba McCray with the season touchdown lead with one apiece. The Trojans take a 13-6 lead with 10 minutes, 11 seconds remaining here in the first half.
That time leading the way for West Brunswick was number 73, Gabe Lewis, from his guard position. He didn't have a block where he put the defender on his back, but he got in the way. And a lot of times that's all you have to do, particularly with talented backs like West has. They don't need a huge hole. They just need a little daylight. They can do the rest. Good job that time by the offensive line, led by number 73, Gabe Lewis.
And, Jay, how quickly things can change. It looked like Socastee was knocking on the door, looking like it was going to reclaim the lead. West Brunswick comes up with a crucial 4th down stop, drives the ball 80-plus yards down the field, right through the middle of the teeth of Socastee's defense, and with a converted extra point here would take an 8-point lead.
Well, they're really, even though we're only 2 minutes into the second quarter of the first game of the year, this last series showed you the potency of this running attack. You can run the football, you can be very successful.
Jay, on the extra point attempt, we have sophomore Jake Baylor as the long snapper, holders number 10, Owen McDowell. Worley, the kick is up, it was blocked, and it looks like it is no good. It falls just short and to the right. But West Brunswick maintains a 13-6 lead with just over 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Jay, early on, I think we can tell that this Trojan backfield is scary. And I'll tell you what else is scary. The Grissettown and Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail. Can you survive the Grissettown Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail? You'll go in, but will you come out? Admission is $10 per person for all ages, but children under 5 are free. And if you want to take your child under 5 to a haunted trail, that's on you. Anyway, the Haunted Trail opens at 7 p.m. every Friday and Saturday of October and Halloween night. The Haunted Trail is located at 758 Longwood Road in Ocean Isle Beach. For more information, contact 910-287-3030 or visit www.grissettownfire.com.
Now, is it true that Sam Hickman has a season pass to that place?
That is fiction. However, Sam Hickman has been to the Haunted Trail every year since it's been open. Actually took my wife 2 years ago, and
you scared her into marrying you.
That's right. And there were snakes on the Haunted Trail, so I slept on the couch for about 2.5 weeks after that. We'd also want to thank ATMC for their sponsorship of the game of the week, and we thank all our viewers for tuning in tonight. ATMC is
President Michael Lewis is in the house tonight.
your local provider for telephone, internet, digital cable, wireless, and home security. A local company with local priorities. Contact them at 755-8206 or check them out on the web at atmc.com as that play is blown dead. Kick went out of bounds, Jay?
Looks like it.
Jay, there was a lot going wrong on that play. Looks like the Trojans were offsides on the kickoff, and Worley kicked it directly out of bounds.
That's
we
one
get
of the.
do-overs at
I was
this
going to
level?
say the same. Ask you the same thing. Can we get a do-over? Yeah, you're talking about ATMC, and they're very gracious to put these games on, and it's for the community. The community and the children of our community are the ones that benefit from this. And folks tune in to watch that. Maybe it's their sons or daughters if it's a girls' event, or their neighbors, or their grandchildren, or just friends. But it's a really nice civic, community-oriented thing that ATMC is able to provide.
Jay, I couldn't agree with you more. And who doesn't like to watch football on TV? My father, Yogi Hickman, former head coach at West Brunswick, it's nothing for him to watch Ball State and Toledo duke it out on a Tuesday night during college football season. Nice kick by Worley there. It wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing kick, but the Socastee returner fell on it at about the Braves' own 20-yard line. So the result, all's well that ends well, Jay.
All's well that ends well. So when you kicked for West, did you kick off too, or just?
My senior year, I kicked off too, but my junior year, I, believe it or not, solely kicked extra points. We had a kicker with a much stronger leg than me. He also was our team leader and tackler, Stuart Champion, who was also a member of the 2004 West Brunswick State Championship high school baseball team. So I solely kicked extra points my junior year, and senior year, I handled all of the kicking duties poorly. Illing throws one down the right sideline, but just over the outstretched arms of his wide receiver.
Second down for the Braves.
A little better coverage that time by the West Brunswick secondary. Too many times here early on for West Brunswick. There have been gaping holes in that secondary, and Illing has been given enough time to find an open receiver.
Jay, with the success they've had running bubble screens and routes across the middle of the field, I was a little surprised to see them take a deep shot on 1st and 10. But that out route is completed, but a nice sure tackle there on the far sideline. It looks like that was number 10, Owen McDowell. Boy, Owen McDowell's going to sleep well tonight, taking every snap at quarterback, and he's also matched up against one of Socastee's better wide receivers. Jay, another critical, I feel like we've harped on this tonight, but another critical third down for the West Brunswick defense.
It's football, Sam. It's what the game's about, third downs.
Illing looks at the defense, looks over to the sideline for the call. Socastee's coaches signaling the play. In the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to his left. A running back, a wide out over to the right. About 3rd and 7 here. He takes the snap. He's going to play action.
There's some pressure.
He's got pressure on him, and he's brought down.
That's
Who was
Gore.
that on the sack?
I believe it. Was that Gore or was that Worley?
I think that might have been Brandon Worley there. And Jay, as a kicker, I certainly never had any sacks to go along with it, unlike Mr. Worley here.
Well, I think Brandon's just a wee bit bigger than you. He's 6'3", 228, so
Yeah,
that
but Jay,
helps.
what I lacked in size, I made up with dogged determination.
Dogged, feisty determination.
That could not be further from the
sure,
truth
yeah.
either. But hey, I tried. Socastee, the snap is good. The punt is up. Looks like it's going to land at Socastee's own 40-yard line. The Trojans get away from it wisely, and the ball is down. The Trojans will take over 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. 9:12 left here in the second quarter. A good time to thank another one of our sponsors for tonight, the Doghouse 2, a local staple for more than 20 years. The Doghouse 2 is under new ownership and completely remodeled. The Doghouse 2, your new home for breakfast and lunch. An amazing new menu serving delicious Angus burgers, boar's head meats, and gourmet coffee. But don't worry, folks, all your old favorites are still there. The Doghouse 2. Apparently, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, speaking about a young dog that doesn't need a lot of tricks, there's that young sophomore again.
Number 20,
DeMonte Daniels. Don't think he had a carry in the first quarter, and I think that's 3 or 4 carries here in the second, and he's got a sizable gain every time, Jay.
You know, last week at the Classic, I don't remember him carrying the ball this much. He very well may have, but you just kept thinking about Bubba's long touchdown runs. But this kid, Daniels, good looking back.
Oh, the ball's loose, Jay, but the Trojans jump on it. Great hit by Socastee. Ball was on the ground. There's also a flag on the field. Let's see what this call is. Boy, Jay, if Daniels wants to continue to get carries, and I know he's just a sophomore, and that was a good hit, but if he wants to continue to get carries, ball security is going to have to become a priority.
Yeah, I don't care how old he is and how good he is. If he drops the ball a lot, he's not going to play very much. That was a real nice effort that time by 66 LeGarrette Jeffries, who alertly pounced on that ball. Would not want to turn the ball over here in the middle of the field with a little bit of momentum going the way of West Brunswick.
Jay, a warm August night here. Obviously, it's August 19th. That penalty is declined, so it's going to bring up a third down. Third down and looks like a long 5, maybe a short 6. Jay, with the weapons West Brunswick has, if it can, not commit a lot of penalties, be a sure tackling team, and just not turn the football over, they got a chance to be a really special team this year. As Thomas gets the ball, he's right at the first down marker, Jay. It looks like he's going to have it.
Yeah, it depends if he gets a good spot here with the ball. It's going to be very close.
It looks like the head referee signaled 4th down here, but it sure does look close to me.
Well, if you look across,
he's signaling a 4th down. Jay, if the Trojans went for it on their own 38, I'd imagine they're certainly going to go for this one, wouldn't you?
Well, I would be surprised if they didn't, particularly the way they've been running the football here ever since the early stages of the first quarter.
Jay, 4 minutes into the second quarter here. What do you see from the Trojans so far that you like, and what are some things that you don't like so far?
Well, I like the fact that they took a punch and they got up off the mat and they came back, right? And they not only came back and put a couple of touchdowns on the game or on the scoreboard, but they've also done a nice job of kind of settling down and settling into their game, which is, run the football, contain on defense, and I think they're carrying out Kelly's game plan pretty well right now.
Big 4th down here as McDowell takes the snap. Oh, number 24 carries it around the right side.
That's Big Malik.
Malik King. And, boy, he met that Socastee defender over by the sideline, and that was a business decision to make that tackle.
I don't know how big Daniels is. We don't have his weight. He's little, though, right? But I guarantee you, he's probably half the size of Malik King. And so they're used to tackling Daniels here the last few plays, and then they got to go up against the big guy King. He made him pay. Good run, good offensive surge that time by West.
Jay, I'm not certain that play was designed to go to the outside, but that's where the space was, and nevertheless, it's a Trojan 1st down as McCray is hit almost before he gets the handoff there and still manages to get 2 yards on the pickup.
That's nice defensive penetration that time by Socastee, led by 51, Davis, from his interior line position.
Jay, I'd also like to take this time to give a shout out to West Brunswick High School athletic trainer Megan Hardy. She's been here about 12, 13 years, just a staple of West Brunswick athletics, and always does just a wonderful job. And just a big shout out to Megan Hardy. And she just means the world to this high school and this community, and just continues to do a great job all these years later as McCray is stopped for a short gain.
People like Megan are behind the scenes. If you see them, something's wrong. But you sure miss them if they're not there. And
That's right,
God
Jay.
bless her and many, many others who week in, week out, day in, day out, provide these kinds of services and support to our children, our kids. That was Zach Shear on the tackle that time for Socastee. He's been around the ball all night. He was the leading tackler in the Grand Strand area last year in 2015, and apparently is getting some pretty good looks from some colleges. So Shear is a nice player and has been active here tonight.
Jay, West Brunswick threatening to score again. It's going to be about a 3rd and 7 from the Socastee 28. You have to get the sense that Kelly Williamson is thinking about you got 2 downs here to get these 7 yards. Obviously out of field goal range for a high school, and you're not going to punt that close. So 2 plays to get 7 yards. I would be surprised if Thomas and McCray don't get these carries here.
Well, yeah, he's in 4-down situation, so that takes a little bit of the pressure off of him. Secondly, I don't think, and maybe he has, but I don't think McDowell's completed a pass here this evening. But I'm not even sure he's thrown one. If he has, it's been very few. So chances are we're going to see the ball on the ground for 2 downs, hopefully only 1 if you're a West fan. Or maybe coach says, hey, it's time to shake it up. We ran. They're all piling in the box. Everybody's aggressive. They're coming up. Let's do a belly fake, roll back, boom, somebody's open. It's worth a shot. But Kelly's good at this, had a successful career down in South Carolina before he made his way up here to West Brunswick. I met Kelly a couple of years ago when he was the interim girls basketball coach, and I was so impressed. The girls still had a hard time, right? They didn't win any games, but what they did do was had a totally different approach to the game, a much more disciplined approach, and you could tell then. In fact, I think I said on some of the games that Kelly coached basketball like he was a football coach. Little did I know that was what was going to happen. There's the pass.
Did roll out the pass. Jay, there is a flag on the play by the quarterback, though. That may be a roughing the passer penalty that negates the interception by Socastee.
Well, if it is, that's a lucky break for West.
However, flag on the field.
Jay, a pass late and over the middle is never a good idea, but it was in fact roughing the passer, and I think that'll be an automatic 1st down for the Trojans. What a break there.
I believe it would, and that's a little element of surprise that time that Coach Williamson decided to do. The ball fake got McDowell outside, threw a pretty good pass, but to the wrong shirt, but it didn't matter because he got whacked on it. So the penalty against Socastee will allow West to maintain possession. Let's just see where they're going to mark the ball now.
All right, that's a 1st down, ladies and gentlemen.
Should be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, which is about the 28. So West Brunswick should have 1st and 10 here from about the Socastee 13-yard line. We have 6 minutes, 34 seconds remaining here in the 1st half as the West Brunswick Trojans hold a 13-6 lead over the visiting Socastee Braves from down the road in South Carolina.
I think it's Bubba time.
I think it's Bubba time. All depends on the push that the offensive line gets. Handoff, that's Daniels, and Daniels is stacked up after maybe a 1-yard gain there. We'll bring up about a 2nd and 9. Russ Gore coming into the game.
He's an excellent blocking back. Nice tackle that time by Shear.
Brings up 2nd down for the Trojans.
Daniels is the beneficiary of McCray's ability to run. A lot of fakes go to McCray, and McDaniels gets the handoff.
McCray's going to get that one with Russ Gore leading the way. McCray cuts back inside. He's brought down close to the 5-yard line.
Number 30, Bubba McCray.
Right at the 5-yard line. Jay, interesting situation coming up here. You have a 3rd and short.
again, they can still make a first down, right, without scoring a touchdown. So
that is right. They can get to the 4 or maybe 3 or 4 yard line for a first down. But I expect something inside here. Russ Gore leading the way for Bubba McCray, and Trojans looking to push the pile here as they can't quite get lined up there as Gore and McCray flip-flop spaces. The handoff does go to McCray. He runs right into the Socastee defenders and is brought down, even loses a yard there.
Yeah, Dwayne Spady, 5'10", 230-pound interior defensive lineman, made the stop that time for Socastee. There really wasn't any hole whatsoever. Bubba tried to carve something out of it, but that's just an excellent play by the defensive line for Socastee. Sets up a fourth down situation.
Nice crowd here tonight, Jay, for the season opener. Nice to see the community get behind the West Brunswick Trojans.
Little late coming, but yeah, they're here when it matters.
Toss out to the weak side. McCray makes a defender miss. He reaches for the pylon, but he doesn't quite make it. But Jay, he does pick up the first down on the play.
That's the important thing that time. Yeah, he was reaching for that pylon, but the important thing was for at least to pick up the first down. Very, very impressed with McCray. He does a lot of smart, good things out on the football team. He's one of those hurry up and wait. You know, he's coming, and he's looking, and then boom, he takes off. And that's a nice talent, nice skill set for a running back to have.
Jay, a lot of the great running backs, you see their patience in the backfield. They wait for those blocks to develop, and when they see the crease, they just explode through the hole. That's going to be a West Brunswick touchdown.
Here we go. We got a flag.
But there is a flag on the play there. Jay, it looked like that was Malik King who carried it over the goal line.
What do we got?
But we'll see. The Socastee coach has came all the way out past the numbers on the visiting sideline over there to plead his case.
They must have seen something that they were hoping the officials saw.
We'll see what the call's coming in here. It's going to be dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on West Brunswick.
Now, was it before or after the score?
Jay, he signaled that it was a dead ball.
And now
he just called, if he called offsetting penalties or if he changed the call to Socastee.
It looked like.
Also, I'm not sure if the touchdown will stand or not. He initially signaled that it was a dead ball, meaning it was after the play and the touchdown would stand. And definitely some confusion here.
Well, you know, it's early for teams. It's early for announcers. It's early for officials too, right?
The touchdown does count, Jay, meaning West Brunswick has taken a 19-6 lead. And after the play, there was an unsportsmanlike penalty called on Socastee, which will move the conversion attempt to the 1.5 yard line. And the Trojans will line up for a 2-point play, leading 19-6 with 4:24 left in the second quarter. And that conversion attempt looked like some kind of read option with Owen McDowell and Dylan Jeffries. Jeffries was brought down as soon as he took the handoff there. But West Brunswick does have a 19-6 lead. Just over 4 minutes left here in the first half. And an impressive start for West Brunswick after Socastee scored on its opening drive. And for those of you joining us late tonight, thank you for tuning in to ATMC's Game of the Week, brought to you by several sponsors, including J.P. Russ & Sons, serving Brunswick County since 1947. J.P. Russ & Sons has become the local leader in all your heavy equipment needs. Paving, grading, clearing, drainage, and much more. They will haul any material, even rock. Give them a call at 754-6023.
About a week ago, had the pleasure, although it was hard work, to work with James Russ and his son Daniel over at the Brunswick County Community Center, packing up food for folks in the greater Brunswick area. And, it was hard work, but it was well worth it. And the Russes were right in there. The whole Russ family was in there carrying the big bags of food. Daniel, I think, played for West.
He did, and started at East Carolina.
Exactly. So I worked up with him, which meant he did most of the work.
Obviously.
Well, and I did play-by-play.
Supervise.
I did play-by-play, and it got me ready for tonight.
There's no way they could have done it without you. As Worley kicks off his best kick of the night distance-wise. So it was a low kick, so didn't give a lot of time for West Brunswick's coverage team to get down there, but they deliver a big blow to the returner. But Socastee will have good opening field position. They'll start the drive at about their own 31-yard line.
With a little help from number 9, Kason Medford.
Bryson Allen in on the special teams play that time for West. And as we commented a few times already tonight, the importance of special teams and how that can make a difference. Football is really 3 components: offense, defense, and special teams. And those guys work hard and make a big difference.
Ealing completes the wide receiver screen, but what a play. The receiver keeps his feet, though. He's still not down. Eventually, he will run right back into the teeth of the defense. Oh, and it looks like he is injured on the play. And that one doesn't look good, as he was essentially body slammed legally, but body slammed by number 62, Taverine.
Well, the person that made the play that time to begin with was 81, Easton Simmons. He had the containment at the point, wasn't able to bring the ball carrier down, pushed him back to Taverine, who finished things, but hopefully the young player for Socastee is going to be okay, certainly shaken up.
Yeah, Jay, you never want to see a kid get injured, obviously. And we send our well wishes to the Socastee player, but it did not look good when he was thrown to the ground. He was immediately writhing around around the 15-yard line in pain. But it was a fantastic play by the West Brunswick defense, as the West Brunswick defense has taken a knee to show their support for the injured Socastee player.
You know, Sam, we've talked quite a bit tonight, and rightfully so, about your football exploits here at West Brunswick. So now it's time to reveal to you that I, too, was a football player. I played back in 1925. Leather helmets,
of course,
the whole bit. I was a quarterback, believe it or not, and I threw one block in my high school career. I clipped a guy, broke his ankle. And fortunately, this guy's able to walk off the field. The guy I got a whole long time ago, well, he got off the field, but not walking. Don't mess with me.
Did they have stretchers back then?
They were after me the rest of the game, though. I can tell you that. I handed the ball off very quickly.
I bet. And then run to the sideline.
As quick as I could.
You know, it's funny that you share that story, because when I initially met you, Jay, that was my first thought was, wow, don't mess with this guy. The enforcer.
No, yeah.
The enforcer
yeah, that's me. The people that know me would readily agree, I'm sure. Not.
Socastee lost a significant chunk of yardage on that first down play, so they'll go to a 5-wide set on 2nd and about 20 here, as Ealing rips a pass up the middle. Completed, and he's got running room down the sideline to the 40, and he is finally pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Actually, the referee's going to mark him out of bounds at the West Brunswick 29.
Knocked out of bounds by number 21, Tony Williams.
Well, Ealing ripped that pass across the middle.
Yeah, he delivered that right on the money to Acanius Green. He's a senior wide receiver, 6'1", 150 pounds for Socastee. Plenty of room to run, and much too much room to receive the pass that time. Not the best defensive coverage by West here tonight on that particular play.
Boy, Jay, these teams could not go about it any differently offensively, could they, as West Brunswick is going to be whistled for another offsides penalty.
Well, that's a good point, Sam. Let's just see, offsides against West. That's going to be another 5 yards for Socastee. You know, Socastee's down 19-6, 3:30 to go in the second quarter. But remember, they appear to be, at least tonight, a team with the ability to throw. So they don't need as much time to get up and down the field as does a running team, which is West. Of course, if you get the runners that West has, they can go 60, 70 yards pretty quick. So maybe it balances out.
Bubble screen completed out to the right side, all the way down to the Trojans' 10-yard line. There is a flag out on the perimeter, Jay, laying at about the 22-yard line. I think they might get the slot receiver for Socastee for holding out on the edge there.
Well, it's clearly the receiver had no one around him. And that's a good reason why.
Well, if he held him, he did a good job because there was nobody inside of the ball carrier.
Exactly, yeah. West has got to – I was getting ready to say that West has got to figure out a little better coverage for that particular bubble. But if you're holding, maybe not. Maybe
That's
it's
right.
just not getting the penalty.
Jay, you get the sense that since the 8-minute mark of the first quarter after the opening touchdown by Socastee, West Brunswick has absolutely dominated play. Socastee has moved the ball, but the last 14 minutes have been all Trojans. And here we are, 3:24 in the second quarter, and if Socastee scores right here, it's a brand new ball game.
It's right, and that's why you can't let down, particularly against a team that's got the ability to go up top.
Pass
There
across
you
the
go.
middle. Oh, knocked down and almost picked off by number 8, Tariq Thomas. And Jay, if he'd have caught that and stayed on his feet,
goodbye.
All he had was green grass ahead of him.
Yeah, there's nobody out there, I think, would have been able to catch him. So that's going to set up, we're second down, but
It's like second and about 12,
Yeah.
13 on the West Brunswick 31-yard line. And West Brunswick has really struggled in these second and third and long situations tonight on defense, which was something they definitely need to shore up, and as they
get some
progress
pressure
this
on the
season.
quarterback. Okay, let's see. No flag. Oh,
We have a late flag coming
In the back.
but it is back where the line. It looked like maybe Brandon Worley and one of the offensive linemen from Socastee got into a little scuffle. Let's see here. The call is going to come in. With no flag, it would have been an incomplete pass, and it brought up about a 3rd and 13. But it looks like it's going to be a personal foul face mask on the defense, and that's going to give Socastee a first down. Got another second and long or third and long situation where Socastee converts via a penalty.
Yeah, that hurts you. It hurts you bad. If they're going to pick up first downs, if they're going to pick up yardage, make them earn it. Don't give it to them through these kinds of penalties. That's the second time tonight that West has given up a first down in a long second or short third situation.
West Brunswick High School Assistant Principal Justin Hayes visiting the booth tonight.
Actually, I guess it's not a first. It's not a first down.
Not a first down.
So it's not automatic. I guess they got 10 yards.
Yeah. I'll just let you take over from here. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're doing fine.
And another flag comes down. It looks like that one's going to be offsides. And, Jay, that one is a little surprising because Ealing hadn't even looked to the sidelines to get the play yet. So it wasn't a hard count situation.
No, just some over-anxiousness, some aggression, first-night jitters, although I would think some of that would start to diminish now that we're almost well into the second quarter. But they're kids. We forget, they play like men sometimes. They play like kids sometimes.
And I think Kelly Williamson was checking out what kind of cologne the player who jumped off sides had on down on the sidelines. They were about a centimeter apart there. Williamson obviously not pleased with yet another Trojan penalty.
Well, once again, these games are lost, not won so often by these kinds of mistakes and errors. And we got a timeout.
Looks like we got a game delay here.
Oh.
Looks like we got lightning.
Oh.
And Jay, over the PA, it looks like lightning is going to halt this game for the time being. We'll reset you at the beginning of the delay.
Lumberton, North Carolina.
There's 3:08 remaining in the second quarter. West Brunswick 19, Socastee 6. When we come back, Socastee will have a 1st and 10 at West Brunswick 16-yard line. Malik King, Bubba McCray, and Tariq Thomas with touchdown scampers for the Trojans.
More is better. And when you build your own bundle with high-speed internet from ATMC, you get more of what you love. More sharing, more streaming, more blasting, more dancing, more freedom. And more speed from ATMC means you can do it all at once without missing a beat. Build your own bundle with high-speed internet up to 200 meg digital cable and reliable home phone from ATMC. You choose, you save with ATMC.
Lightning postponed last night's game, and during the Lightning delay, the teams hung around for about an hour and a half until finally Athletic Director Jimmy Fletcher informed us that the game had been postponed, and we are set to resume the game tonight with West Brunswick leading Socastee 19-6 with 3:08 left in the second quarter. When play resumes here momentarily, Socastee will have the ball 1st and 10 at the West Brunswick 16-yard line. I'm Sam Hickman. I'll be doing your play-by-play tonight. I'm joined by Jay Combs. Jay, it's a little warmer today, but welcome back.
Good to be here, and there's a nice breeze and no lightning, so we're okay.
That's right. Just waiting a little while on the official to blow the play in live. Hunter Illing, Socastee quarterback, set to take the snap. He has a wide receiver coming in motion on the far side. He hands the ball off up the middle. Running back's got running room. He cuts back to the 6, and he's fighting his way down to the West Brunswick about 3.5-yard line where Socastee will have 1st and goal.
Tackled by a host.
And Jay, last night we saw Socastee do the bulk of its damage through the air, but they start off today, 24 hours later, on the ground.
How long do you think these coaches stayed up last night looking at game tape of that first quarter and a half, trying to figure out, okay, this is what we saw, what are we going to do?
Probably about as long as I did with my newborn. Illing takes the snap. He hands off to Tucker up the middle. Tucker carries it in for a touchdown.
Middle for Socastee with a touchdown. Looks like number 25, Tucker.
And about 40 seconds into the resumption of last night's game, Socastee has trimmed the West Brunswick lead. West Brunswick now leads 19-12 with the point after attempt upcoming.
The second touchdown of the game for Tucker. He caught an 8-yard pass from Illing in the first quarter and now takes it in from about 7 yards out to get Socastee within 19-12.
Jay, it looks like Socastee lined up for the 2-point conversion attempt. Illing fakes the handoff. He rolls out to his right, throws to the back of the end zone, and it's caught. A juggling grab in the back of the end zone. So with 2:17 left here in the second quarter, West Brunswick 19, Socastee 14.
A nice effort by Illing that time. Again, he, like we were saying, he threw the ball a lot in the first quarter. They come out here early on and run the ball, but go up top for the 2-point conversion. Illing's a nice ball player, the one that we thought Socastee was going to run the ball a little more than what they've showed thus far, but he's been able to go up top with success.
And Jay, last night, after Socastee scored the touchdown on its opening drive, West Brunswick really dominated the next about 14 minutes of gameplay and had scored 19 unanswered. So what a big statement by Socastee today as the game has resumed, and it's 19-14, 2 minutes left in the second quarter. We got a brand new game.
Well, I'm sure Coach Williamson would have been very happy had they been able to continue to play last night, not had any interruption, because you're right, Sam, up until that point, West Brunswick had really taken control of the game and had some good momentum. 3 touchdowns in the coming into this 3 minutes left in the second quarter. McCray with a 60-yard run, Thomas with a 40-yard run, and King with a 7-yard run. So their game has been on the ground as advertised, and they've got a couple of minutes here to see if they can't get the ball into scoring position.
And Jay, one of the things that we noted last night was the amount of different ball carriers for West Brunswick. 6 different players carried the ball, including Dylan Jeffries on a point after attempt. He made it 6 different players who carried the ball as that kick sails out of bounds. And West Brunswick will have the option to take over well past its own 30-yard line. Jay, can we expect more of the same from the West Brunswick offense today?
Well, so again, back to my question, I wonder how late these coaches stayed up watching their own internal video tape of the game last night to see if there were some things there they were taking advantage of, but maybe some things there that they now, after seeing it a couple of times over, could change and maybe catch in this case Socastee by surprise. But I would think you bring to the dance, if you're West Brunswick, you bring your running game, and with that bevy of backs as you just elaborated on, I think we're going to see them continue to try to run and take over the line of scrimmage.
And West Brunswick will take over on the right hash, 1st and 10 at its own 35-yard line. The first handoff is going to go to McCray up the middle, and he's got running room. He churns out almost to midfield. So, Jay, we're one carry in, and it is much of the same as McCray continues to give the Socastee defense fits. Well, 1st and 10.
There's some big guys up front for West Brunswick. 66, LeGarrette Jeffries is 6 foot, 260 pounds, and he's got a little bit of quickness to him, and he's got a little bit of, I'm going to get in your face and get you. So it's a fine line on the ground for West.
West Brunswick 1st and 10 from its own 49. McDowell drops back. He lost one down the field to number 21, and it's just over the outstretched arms of Tony Williams. Williams looked like he had a step on the defense, but it was just overthrown by about a yard, and so West Brunswick will have 2nd and 10 from its own 49. Jay, that marks only the second pass attempt of the game. Last night, McDowell attempted a pass that was intercepted, but West Brunswick maintained possession on the roughing the passer penalty. So
it's good to show that pass, though.
McCray takes the handoff, and he's brought down at about the Socastee 47, 48-yard line.
Ronnie McPherson, a 6'4" senior for Socastee, in on the stop there. And you got some good size up front for West Brunswick. Baylor is a big kid. Jeffries, we talked about him. Gabe Lewis, Mercer, Monty Stanley out at left tackle, big guy.
Tariq Thomas around the left side. He's got some running room, and he is out past the first down marker. Jay, it looked like Socastee might have him corralled, and Thomas made a nifty move there to move the chains.
Yeah, you know, the offensive line did a nice job, and most of that was number 8, Tariq Thomas, because he's got that good runner's instinct to give you a little here, little there, and see that wee bit of a hole and make something out of it.
And that is number 20. I think that's DeMonte Daniels on the speed sweep over the right side, and it looks like that's going to be another first down for the Trojans. Jay, we have 1:07 left here in the first half, and the Trojans are moving the ball into Socastee territory and doing it on the ground.
If Daniels is going to break tackles like he did on that play, he's going to get a lot of PT for West.
That handoff is to McCray up the middle. Another nice gain for West Brunswick. That's all the way down to the Socastee, looks like 20-yard line. Jay, coming into the game last night in our opening broadcast, we said this West Brunswick offense would go as far as Bubba McCray would take them, and boy, he has certainly lived up to the hype so far.
Yeah, he's gotten off to a great early season start.
Looks like that'll be enough to move the chains. Well, there's 41 seconds left in the first half.
Well, the good news in high school football is the clock stops when you make a first down. So that's going to help Kelly Williamson in terms of his game management here and when to call a timeout. He's got 41.2 seconds left.
Tariq Thomas around the left side. He cuts back in, but a nice job by Socastee forcing that back to the middle of the field. And Thomas has dropped for a minimal gain. The clock is now ticked under 30 seconds.
Thought he might go. He's going to probably stop the clock here.
Looks like Williamson is urging Owen McDowell to stop the clock. He does, and the clock is blown dead with 18.7 seconds left here.
Don't know how many timeouts, if any, that West has. Wondered if maybe they do not have any, and that's why they had to do what they did that time.
And Jay, that play, the last play before the clock was killed, there was 41 seconds left. That took 23 seconds for West Brunswick to run one short play and kill the ball. Yeah. And you know, first game of the season, clock management will have to be something they work on. As the ball's pitched out to McCray to the right side, he's got running room, and he's brought down inside the Socastee 10-yard line. Looks like he's brought down at about the 6. And West Brunswick does use one of his timeouts. So West Brunswick knocking on the door, 13 seconds left in the first half. West Brunswick will have first and goal. And Jay, let's keep in mind that Socastee received the opening kickoff last night, so West Brunswick will have the ball to begin the third quarter. So if they can get a score here, they'll certainly carry a lot of momentum into an abbreviated halftime today.
That's a very good point. If they could score here and then get the ball on the second half kickoff, that's probably as good as Coach Williamson could expect. On that particular play, Malachi McClendon for Socastee probably made a touchdown-saving tackle, because I think Bubba was rolling in, and McClendon came up from his cornerback position and made a real nice hit. Tough to bring down McCray, but McClendon did it that time.
And thank you for joining us on your ATMC Game of the Week. Brought to you by several of our sponsors, including Guy C. Lee, your one-stop shop for all your construction and building needs. Why shop at a big box store when you can shop local with Guy C. Lee, an experienced and friendly staff trained to help you with anything. Guy C. Lee. Give them a call, 754-7100, as West Brunswick lines up from the Socastee 6-yard line. Ball's tossed out to the left side to McCray. He tries to turn the corner, but he's brought down in the field of play. And Jay, I don't know that West Brunswick will be able to get another play off as the clock ticks all the way down and time will run out. So Socastee with a big stop to end the first half.
Devin Stamp in on the tackle that time, because Bubba was kind of loping towards the outside, trying to beat him to the edge, wasn't able to do it. So the half ends with West up 19-14.
Okay.
Why did I choose ATMC Security? Value. With locally owned ATMC Security, I get the same great protection for about half what I used to pay a national security company.
Get 24/7 protection for your home as low as $17.95 a month. And you can add services to meet your family's needs.
Reliable protection, local service, and lower monthly prices, that's value. And that's why I switched to ATMC Security.
Choose ATMC Security for peace of mind you can afford.
And we're back to kick off the second half. West Brunswick holding on to a slim 19-14 lead over the visiting Socastee Braves from South Carolina. And again, we have resumed last night's postponement due to lightning in the area. And Jay, 2 years ago,
this Groundhog Day?
Absolutely. 2 years ago, West Brunswick hosted Socastee. The game was postponed due to a terrible thunderstorm in the area, and they finished the game on Saturday night. So deja vu all over again.
Well, let's hope it stops at the score, because Socastee won that game 48-26. So folks are tuning in from Charlotte and West Brunswick fans, hoping that they can maintain this 5-19-14 edge as we start the third quarter.
And Jay, West Brunswick has had a lot of success on the ground here in the early going, but a big stop by Socastee with their backs against their own goal line to end the first half, keep it at 19-14.
This run back here would be real good.
West Brunswick fields the kick about its own 13-yard line, and it's returned across West Brunswick's 30 to about the 31. Anthony McCray on the kick return there.
You know what, Sam, it's tough to see because, you know, the sun's just coming down and I got a little bit of a glare here, but chances are you're probably pretty safe in just saying McCray has the ball most any time West has it, don't you think?
That's about right.
Yeah, he is the guy that they expected to carry upwards of 20 times a game.
It looks like that was number 2, Dylan Jeffries, who fell coming out of the huddle there. McCray takes the handoff, and he runs into a host of Socastee tacklers and is driven down into the ground after a short gain, maybe 1 or 2 yards on that play. And, Jay, talk a little bit about, you know, the adjustment for these kids. You know, they've been preparing for this season opener all summer long, since last season ended, really, and then you come out, play a quarter and a half last night, and you go home and have to sleep on it and come back today.
It has to be bizarre. This is something that you don't practice, right?
Yeah, that's right. As looks like Daniels gets a short gain and is stood up just past the Trojans' 35-yard line. It'll be spotted about the 36, bringing up about a 3rd and 5 here for West Brunswick.
You got some good popping going on by way of Socastee. That time, number 6, Hudson Cook, from his outside linebacker position, really did a nice stop on the elusive Daniels.
Tariq Thomas on the speed sweep. He carries it around the left side. He's got running room over there across the left sideline, past midfield, all the way to the Socastee 43-yard line. And what a game so far from the senior spotlight. Tariq Thomas. Jay, we've talked about this last night. Tariq Thomas, what a football player.
Yeah, he's a great all-around player. We talk a lot about him defensively. He was first-team all-conference last year, but he's actually shown a really, really good ability to run the football, and we shouldn't be surprised because he is an extremely good athlete.
Jay, there's just not a lot of things on a football field that Thomas can't do as he takes another handoff around the right side. He's got some room, and he's brought down about the Socastee 33-yard line for yet another big gain for the Trojans on the ground.
Well, it's one of that big six-pack worth of backs that you were talking about, Sam, when they can really, Coach Williamson can afford to mix it up in there with the kids like Bubba, of course. You got Malik King, who's a bigger size kid, and then you bring back Tariq, 5'9", $180 with plenty of muscle and plenty of quicks.
McDowell rolls out to the left. Oh, what a nice scramble by McDowell. Makes the guy miss right at the marker and lunges for the first down. So West Brunswick in business here. It'll have 1st and 10 at about the Socastee 27-yard line.
Owen McDowell showed some of his varsity experience. He did have some snaps last year, and that's huge. You can't read this stuff out of a book. You got to experience it on the field. I'm not sure that was a design, if it was a pass or it was a design run, but either way, McDowell executed it perfectly.
Jay, it looked like it may have been a busted play there as there was McDowell rolled out looking to pass, but it didn't look like there were any receivers running routes.
Early season.
But this time McDowell does roll out, and he's got McCray in the flat. McCray's got daylight, and he trucks a Socastee defender at the 11-yard line and bulls his way to a first down. Jay, tell me about that one.
You know what that is? That's Bubbalicious, baby. I'm telling you, that's a nightmare. If you're a defensive back and you got Bubba coming at you full tilt, and unfortunately, it's gonna get wiped off, Sam, due to a holding penalty against West.
Looks like there was a flag all the way back at the line of scrimmage.
Probably had very little to do with the success of that play, but it demonstrates the strength of the senior Anthony Bubba McCray. He is a load to bring down.
Jay, it looks like the referee has told Kelly Williamson that Owen McDowell's got blood on his forearm or bicep area, and he'll have to come out of the game while athletic trainer Megan Hardy deals with that issue. And that's freshman Dylan Bubba Jeffries coming into the game. Another Trojan with the nickname Bubba. Apparently they call him Little Bubba.
Little Bubba's only a sophomore, so just got to be calm out there.
McCray takes the handoff. He's got room, and nobody's going to catch him, and I don't see flags on this play as McCray scores his 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening. Boy, nice handoff by backup quarterback Jeffries there.
Let me tell you, Dylan did it exactly right. You just want a good snap, a good handoff, and let Jeffries do the rest.
And Jay, thanks for the correction there. Dylan Jeffries was a freshman on this spring's baseball team, so he's a sophomore as far as football is concerned, so I apologize for that area. Jay, West Brunswick has seized a 25-14 lead, and it looks like it's going to line up for a 2-point conversion here. Jay, 9:39 left in the 3rd quarter, and it looked like West Brunswick couldn't get the right personnel onto the field, so they'll have to burn a timeout this early in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I think that's some of the early season stuff, Sam. Some things you always want to improve on, and I think you're going to have a tendency to see situations like that more early on in the year than you are late. But those timeouts are important. I think if they would have had another timeout at the end of the 2nd quarter, they maybe could have got their place kicker on the field and at least tried for a field goal.
And Jay, although the scoreboard does not show it, West Brunswick does hold a 25-14 lead. The scoreboard hasn't been changed. Jay, something I wanted to ask you after last night, as special as a kid like Anthony Bubba McCray is, it's really going to help that they have several guys, different players who can carry the ball, because you don't want McCray carrying it 30 times a night. You want to keep him as fresh as you can, because the season is a grind.
Well, it is a grind, and a game is a grind, and this heat is a grind. So the more fresh backs that you can put in there, the better. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference between any of them. They're all very capable of taking the ball and doing something with it.
West Brunswick lines up for the 2-point play. McDowell rolls to his right. He makes a guy miss. Throws to the end zone, and it's caught. It looks like that is number 8. Guess who? Tariq Thomas. So West Brunswick now leads 27-14.
West Brunswick 27.
So West Brunswick 27, Socastee 14. We have 9 minutes, 39 seconds left in the third quarter of the resumption of last night's game that was postponed by lightning. This is your ATMC Game of the Week, brought to you by J.P. Russ & Sons, serving Brunswick County since 1947. J.P. Russ & Sons has become the local leader in all your heavy equipment needs: paving, grading, clearing, drainage, and much more. They also haul any material, even rock. Give them a call at 754-6023. So, Jay, despite not scoring a touchdown there at the end of the second quarter, West Brunswick with a methodical, punishing, very quick drive to start the third quarter, and they reclaim a 2-possession lead.
Well, you know what else was impressive that time? A couple of things. McDowell got hurt. Jeffries came in and successfully ran the play. And also, they overcame that penalty, the one where Bubba McCray had picked up a lot of yards, but there was a holding call which wiped it off and brought it way back. They didn't let it bother them. They sat back down and did their thing, and the result is now the 27-14 score here early on in the third quarter.
45, Brandon Worley.
And probably the biggest kicker in the conference, Brandon Worley, squared to kick off here as West Brunswick holds a 13-point lead.
He's a deuce and a quarter, so he's a big boy.
And he booms that end-over-end kick that is fielded at about Socastee's own 8-yard line. Thomas comes from all the way on the right side of the field and makes a nice hit to bring down the Socastee ball carrier about the Braves' 20-yard line.
You were asking about how the kids react to the game situation where they stopped on a Friday night pickup on a Saturday. It looks like some of them really went home and got some rest. And they've come out here and they're playing like they had a long halftime break and got their second win. And, of course, that includes Tariq Thomas. He's one of the premier players probably in Brunswick County, certainly in the conference.
As Socastee will take over, 2 receivers lined out to the left here, 2 to the far side. Single running back. Illing takes the snap, hands it off. And that ball's on the ground. The ball's on the ground, and it looks like the Trojans have recovered. The Trojans are signaling that they've recovered. The referee's trying to clear the pile. Socastee pointing as
Tony
it has the ball. Still no signal from the referee.
Tariq says it's West ball.
And it is going to be West Brunswick football as the referee signals that West Brunswick has recovered a fumble. Let's see who came up with that. That is number, looks like 64.
64 would be Casey Holler.
Casey Holler.
Only a sophomore, and that's a good way to start his varsity career, coming up with that fumble.
Jay, it's tough to see. The players were all gathered around there, but I know Holler did come up with the football.
So now it's up to West to take advantage of this turnover and really build upon this lead. You know, another score or two here, and they could start that bus up maybe for Socastee.
A lot of time left in this one, but certainly West Brunswick has all the momentum right now, as it looks like Socastee burns a timeout with 9:23 left here in the third quarter. Just a quick reset for you guys.
Personal loans and title loans.
On your ATMC Game of the Week, West Brunswick leads Socastee 27-14. 2 touchdown runs by Bubba McCray. We had one by Malik King and another 4-yard touchdown run by Tariq Thomas. West Brunswick just doing whatever it wants to do on the ground so far. And again, this is your ATMC Game of the Week, brought to you by several sponsors, including Community Finance of South Carolina. Community Finance of South Carolina offers personal loans and title loans with the most competitive rates in the area. Located right across the border in Little River, South Carolina, Community Finance provides quick approval so you can have cash in minutes. As it looks like we're ready to return to action, West Brunswick's going to have 1st and 10 on what looks like the Socastee about 26-yard line, Jay. Do you expect more of the same on this drive?
I think so. And the reason, well, lots of reasons. They got talent, of course, but West got a big offensive line, and they are doing a good job.
McDowell rolls out. He stops. He fires across the middle of the field, and what a catch by number 45, Brandon Worley.
Number 10 and number 45, tight end Brandon Worley.
Really,
a Trojan. First down.
Really nice job by McDowell there on the rollout. He didn't have his primary target, which I think was Bubba McCray rolling out of the backfield, the same play they ran earlier. So he waited and found Worley streaking across the middle. Nice play there.
Can't you slowly feel McDowell getting his confidence in throwing the football?
DeMonte Daniels carries it up the middle. He's brought down, but not before a sizable gain. Looks like West Brunswick will have second down at about the Socastee 10-yard line. Jay, tell me a little bit about what this running game does to a defense. You know, West Brunswick just leans on you and leans on you and leans on you. That'll take its toll after a few quarters, won't it?
It keeps them on the field. You know, it makes you tired, and it takes time off the clock. So it's very effective when you run the ball as well as West does. And here's that sweep again.
Tariq Thomas with the sweep around the left side. He's got room, Jay, and nobody's going to catch him. Tariq Thomas on the speed sweep. Touchdown.
Touchdown, West Brunswick.
So, Jay, Tariq Thomas trying not to let Bubba McCray get that touchdown lead on him. They each have 2 on the night now. Well, in the game, I should say. 1 each tonight as West Brunswick claims a 33-14 lead. It looks like Kelly Williamson is going to keep the offense on the field for the point after attempt. And Jay, one thing I wanted to mention was West Brunswick had the last possession of the first half. They took the opening drive of the third quarter in for a touchdown, and then Socastee fumbles on its first play. So that Socastee defense has been on the field now for probably half an hour of real time.
And in this heat, that takes its toll, no question about it.
Owen McDowell under center for the point after attempt. He rolls out to his right. He's got a man in the end zone. He throws, and it's caught. That looks like number 9, Kaysen Medford on the reception. That is Kaysen Medford out of the backfield, and it is good.
Medford, a 5'9" junior fullback, also an outside linebacker, and showing some pretty good route running and good hands to take in that 2-point conversion from McDowell.
Boy, Jay, I think it was an excellent point that you just made. McDowell doesn't look like the same kid last night. Had some amazing what a good night's sleep can do. McDowell just playing a fantastic quarter or in the first half and early on in the third quarter here.
Yeah, you can just see him getting more confident with each and every series. And this team should be able to throw the football. 2 reasons why. One, they run the football so well, which is going to make it easier to throw. They've got some talented receivers that we've seen coming out of the backfield and even on the line. And then that offensive line, of course, is doing a good job of giving him some time. And they're rolling McDowell out using his athleticism, and he's taking advantage of it.
And Jay, on this warm Saturday, today will be a great day for some Fuzzy Peach. You in the mood for something sweet? Head on into the Fuzzy Peach right in the middle of Charlotte. At the Fuzzy Peach, you can pick up a cup, swirl any combination of delicious yogurt flavors, and top it off with your favorite toppings. The Fuzzy Peach, located in the Charlotte Plaza.
I bet there'll be a lot of customers at the Peach this evening.
One would think. The sweat dripping from my forehead indicates might be a good idea for me this afternoon as Worley kicks off a low kick, fielded at about the Socastee 7-yard line. The returner's got some running room. He's still on his feet. He cuts back. He's brought down and the ball's on the ground. Yet another fumble. And Jay, I think West Brunswick recovered another one, and they did.
Absolutely.
Yet another fumble recovery for West Brunswick. Let's see who came up with that one.
Number 4.
That is number 4.
Ron.
Julian LeGrand with the fumble recovery.
Sophomore. Again, young players making their mark for the Trojans here tonight. And that is a really tough break for Socastee and an excellent opportunity now for West. And we've got a player down on the other end of the field.
Yeah, we have it looks like an injured Trojan there on the far sideline. It is difficult to pick up who it is from this side of the stadium, and really a good kick return by Socastee, Jay, but when the player tried to reverse his field, it looked like a West Brunswick someone on West Brunswick's coverage team got a fist in there and punched that ball loose.
You know, a lot of times that happens on returns when the returner changes direction on the field, and you know, he's not able to shield himself quite the way he would if he was going north-south. And those guys come in and they swipe at the ball and they cause fumbles.
And Jay, we're going to take a minute to thank another one of our sponsors for tonight's ATMC Game of the Week. Is that number 21 Tony Williams?
That's what it looks like from here, and he's walking off. I mean, he's taking his time, but that's okay. He just needs to kind of regroup. Looks, and hopefully Tony's going to be okay.
Yeah, Jay, it's long been said that some of the most dangerous plays in the sport of football are special teams plays. You know, you've got guys chasing a returner in coverage, and they can't see guys peeling back to block them, and returners who can't see guys coming to make hits.
You know, that's one of the reasons why the rules committees and various leagues and associations are looking at doing away with kickoffs.
Absolutely.
It's a real tough play. You're susceptible to injury.
And Jay, this West Brunswick team is one with decent depth, but a guy like number 21 Tony Williams, not someone they can afford to lose. As McDowell takes the snap, he hands off straight up the middle, and oh, that ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. It's still loose. It's all the way down to about the goal line. It looks like the ball's still loose. Impossible to tell who's picked it up after a huge chunk of yardage. And that's going to be a dead ball penalty on Socastee. Socastee has recovered the fumble.
Fumble on the play.
I'm pretty sure there's an unsportsmanlike penalty going to be called against Socastee. And Sam, how much further can they move that ball back?
Yeah, Jay, I think in the ruckus I saw the official signal a touchback, so it was recovered in the end zone. So I think they'll bring it out to the 20 and then mark off the penalty from there.
Okay, that makes sense.
But Jay, tough break for West Brunswick. The Trojans have all the momentum. It's 35-14. Medford streaks up the middle for about a 20-yard gain, and he's chased down from behind and loses the fumble. So Socastee, you know, they might be on their last breath here, but they're not dead yet.
Well, and the turnovers, you know, can even things up quickly. We talked about that in the first half, about the importance of protecting the football. Medford caught the two-point conversion, and I guess they thought, hey, he's our hot guy. Let's give it to him. And he had an excellent run right up.
He did.
Just lost the ball.
And Jay, you see that a lot of times at all levels of football. A guy breaks right through the defense. You know, it looks like he's home free, and a guy comes from behind and just swipes right down on it and forces the fumble.
And you know, that's taught. That's just not luck. I mean, these defensive coordinators, they teach their guys to rake that ball, in addition to, you know, trying to make the good tackle.
And Jay, so far through 2 quarters and 4 minutes of play, West Brunswick had done an excellent job of hanging on to the football. And certainly not going to be the last fumble they lose this year. But so ball security, obviously something Coach Williamson has stressed.
Well, let's think about that. You're right. But when you run the ball as much as they do, and that's the first fumble, I think, of this game for West, that I think Williamson can live with that. Obviously, he would like to maintain possession and maybe even gotten into the end zone on Medford's run. But things happen. Who was it? One coach used to say that don't forget the other team gives scholarships too. I think it was.
That's right.
You know, and you can't forget that the other team is out there working hard as well.
Jay, my middle brother, the running backs coach at Garner-Webb University, he always says to me, ball security is job security. That's what he always preaches to me.
Like a coach.
That's right, and that has always stuck with me. And, you know, for a team like West Brunswick with as many weapons as it has offensively, you know, if they can hang on to the football this season, they got a chance to be a pretty dangerous team.
Well, they do. And back to your point about the multiple backs that are out there that all seem to be able to run very, very well. You know, a lot of fumbles sometimes come from just being a little fatigued, a little tired. Kelly Williamson can run backs in and out all day long to keep them fresh. In fact, that may have been Medford's first run from scrimmage, but just got popped and lost the ball, and they're still trying to sort this out.
That was an unsportsmanlike penalty on both teams. Those penalties are going to offset, and it looks like it's going to be 1st and 10, Socastee ball on the 20-yard line. Jay, it was 2 unsportsmanlike penalties whistled on the Braves and 1 on West Brunswick. So the first two, 1 on each team, offset, but they are going to mark off the the third unsportsmanlike, the second on Socastee.
That third one may have been when one of the West players went flying 10 yards in the air.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. So we're going to take this time to thank Guy C. Lee. Guy C. Lee, one of your sponsors for your ATMC Game of the Week. Guy C. Lee is your one-stop shop for all your construction and building needs. Why shop at a big box store when you can shop local with Guy C. Lee? They have an experienced and friendly staff trained to help you out with absolutely anything. Give them a call at 754-7100.
You know what, Sam? It looks to me like building is picking up in the greater Brunswick County area, and a lot of times when I'm driving around and they're building a new home, I see Guy C. Lee's truck there. What's that mean? Guy C. Lee is delivering the goods.
That's right.
What it means, right? So we're happy that he's helping to get the building industry back on its feet, and certainly happy that he's part of the advertising folks for our ATMC Games of the Week.
And Guy C. Lee, the Strickland family, long been staples in the Shallotte and Brunswick County community. We thank them for all that they do as Socastee set to take over 1st and 10 from its own 10-yard line. The ball's handed off. And some more extracurricular activity. That's 81 Easton Simmons, who was tangled up with a Socastee wide receiver. That's about a 3 to 4 yard gain.
Dashawn Myers for Socastee, and you're right, Easton Simmons. It's a great name, by the way.
Fantastic. Jay, if nothing else, don't you get the sense Socastee at the very least needs to get a few first downs here just to give the defense a breather?
If nothing else, to give those kids a chance to catch their breath. And they just picked up an easy 5 against West that time. You know, it's been interesting. In the first half, principally, Socastee's success was up top. Coming out here in the tail end of the second quarter, and the few times that they've been on the field in the third quarter, they have not been able to get that throwing game going. But I think the West defense, particularly the secondary, needs to be very aware of that. This kid can throw pretty well.
Illing drops back, throws the bubbles. Is caught a nice block out on the edge, and that's going to be a first down for the Braves. And Jay, to your point, Socastee hasn't had many opportunities to let the ball go in the air this half because they've turned it over on back-to-back possessions.
Well, that's exactly right. I don't know who that Socastee player was way out that made that block, but that was an excellent block and allowed the play to develop.
Socastee lined up with trips out to the near side, a single wide out to the right side. That's going to be a handoff. He's got some running room, but he is brought down after about a 5-yard gain. So a nice chunk of yardage by the Braves on first down there. And Jay, we got a little bit of cloud cover here. The sun is directly in our face here in M.H. Rourke Stadium in Shallotte, but turning out to be a nice evening, partner.
You're right, and it turned out to be a nice tackle that time by 62 Taverine. Second team all-conference last year, being recruited as an offensive lineman, 250 pounds, a big athletic guy.
And Jay, this coaching staff just absolutely loves Taverine, and you can see why.
Well, he's a real good player. I mean, big, strong, athletic. Saw him play basketball last year.
And Jay, that tackle on the play was by number 41, Jimmy Cochran. Played safety for 2-3 years now for West Brunswick, and he's Jimmy Cochran, definitely not afraid of contact. He is a big physical hitter. And as the Socastee ball carrier is taken down after another good gain, Socastee picks up another 5 on first down, and Socastee looks much better this drive, Jay.
Yeah, they've settled down a little bit, and it probably helps to get a first down or two to get a little continuity out there and not turn the ball over. But, you know, football is a collision sport, and you're right. These West kids will stick you.
And, Jay, I think a staple of these no-huddle spread teams is rhythm and tempo. as the ball carrier is stacked up for a loss on the play. So Socastee will have about a 3rd and long 5 or short 6 coming up.
Well, let me tell you what's so nice about that. Number 45 was Brandon Worley. He made the initial stop. The ball carrier shook off Worley, and Worley got back up and made the tackle.
Absolutely.
That's what you want to see out there if you're a coach.
Worley with nice penetration into the Socastee backfield.
Worley, a big kid, 225 pounds, and he also handles the punting and the place kicking.
Not bad for a kicker, right?
Not bad.
Or is he a linebacker who also happens to kick?
Yeah, we'll have to talk to him about that.
Bubble screen. That ball is caught, but West Brunswick's got defenders there. And Jay, there is a flag on the field. It looks like that was a hold there on the far sideline by one of the Socastee slot receivers.
Yeah,
we'll wait for the call for the referee, but that's what it appeared to be to me.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to block, and either blocked in the back or held. And
I think it
picked it up.
I think it was a block in the back, Jay, and West Brunswick strong safety Tariq Thomas is signaling that it was a block in the back.
Well, I'm going to go with whatever Tariq says.
Sure.
I've learned that pretty quick. Go with Tariq. Go with Bubba, right?
So, Jay, an interesting decision for Kelly Williamson. He has elected to accept the penalty. Had he not, it would have been a 4th and about 4, but Williamson has elected to accept the penalty, and where it'll bring up about a 3rd and about 20 for Socastee.
He's playing some field position, right? Field position is such an important part of football. And so he's banking on his defense to be tough here and make Socastee turn the ball over and punt.
And Jay, you mentioned it several times last night that it was imperative for West Brunswick to get some pressure on Illing. Let's see if they bring some here. They don't. They rush 4, but they get there with 4 as number 62, who else? Taverine brings down Illing, and that will bring up a 4th and a country mile for the Braves.
And Illing's a little slow getting up, and I don't blame Hunter whatsoever. When Big Tay comes to visit, he wraps you up. That's not a Christmas present.
And, Jay, we saw him do the same thing or similar things to power forwards in the paint last basketball season, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely we did. Illing is still shook up. He was careened by Vereen for sure that time.
And Taverine is one of our 2 senior spotlights this week, along with Tariq Thomas. Taverine is a right tackle and defensive end, wears jersey number 62. As we just mentioned, he also plays on the West Brunswick Trojans basketball team. He does want to attend college and hopefully play football after high school. Favorite sports team, the Andy Reid-led Kansas City Chiefs, and, of course, his favorite food, everything.
Yeah, that's probably about as good an answer as you can get from a high school senior, you know.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite food? I like everything, man.
I think that was my favorite food in high school as well. There wasn't much I didn't like.
I've been out of high school a long, long time, and that's still pretty much the way I roll, so.
Absolutely. And we mentioned last night Taverine's favorite movie, The Wood, which I still believe is older than he is. We need a fact checker on that.
Need to do that. Hey, let's hope that Hunter Illing is okay, the 6'1" junior quarterback for Socastee. He is the nephew of head coach Doug Illing. And Hunter's done a real fine job here this evening, particularly in the first half when he was able to throw the ball a lot more.
And Socastee, of course, their athletic department is led by Tim Renfro, whose son Hunter caught 2 passes in the national championship game last year as a member of the Clemson Tigers. As Socastee is back to punt. That punt is straight up in the air, but not very far. West Brunswick trying to get out of the way.
Smart.
And it is downed. Nice job by West Brunswick. So those short punts can be dangerous, Jay, because they could hit West Brunswick players going down the field and be recovered by Socastee.
Absolutely, and I think it was number 6, Jalen Jones-Bay, who was smart enough and aware enough to let that ball bounce and get out of the way. Because, look, you're going to get great field position either way. Smart play by Jones-Bay.
Smart play by Jones Bay. Sometimes the script writes itself.
Oh, my gosh, it rhymed, didn't it? Yeah.
West Brunswick will take over at midfield here, holding a 21-point lead over Socastee, 35-14 with 3:58 left in the third quarter. A whistle's going to stop play here and give me just enough time to lead in to the Grissettown and Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail. We're going to wait for this first snap and then tell you a little bit more about the Haunted Trail, because I know you're anxious.
Just tee that baby up. I mean, you know, everybody wants to know about the trail.
This is what we call in the business a segue.
What's the business?
Boy, that's Big Malik King around the right side. What a run.
What's the business called that? That's big time running. That's what you call it. King is a load.
Yeah, Jay, when McCray and King get the ball with a full head of steam coming out of the backfield, that's a haunted trail for a defense.
Haunted trail. Amen, brother.
That's a 20-yard pickup for King.
And that's the first time King has run the ball since I don't know when, but again, shows the depth in that backfield, and King's ready to, hey, give me that ball, man, I'm ready to go.
And Coach Kelly Williamson, blisterings, one of the Trojan players after that play. I'd have hated to seen what he had said if it was a short gain. And that was a handoff by McDowell. Was that number 5, Bryson Allen?
Bryson Allen.
Okay, and that, Jay, that marks the 8th different West Brunswick player who has at least one rush attempt tonight and last night.
All these kids seemingly can run the ball well, and a lot of that is because of the offensive line. That's 77 Monty Stanley out there, 6'5", 310, making a difference.
Malik King carries up the middle, drags a couple tacklers with him, and Jay, he's close to the first down marker. Looked like he got his first contact there around the line of scrimmage and just dragged some tacklers down to about the 20.
All these backs, you know, I mean, they're big, but they're not that big. McCray's 187 pounds. Thomas is 180. But some of them, Daniels is smaller, but then you get Big Malik coming at you at 220.
Boy.
That's a load, man.
And Jay, West Brunswick doing its damage on this drive, and we're looking at DeMonte Daniels and Bubba McCray standing right in front of us on the sideline as Socastee snuffs out that play. That ball was on the ground, but the play was blown dead.
Yeah.
Jay, that's going to bring up a 4th down situation at about the Socastee 24 or 25-yard line, and it looks like we got another injured player, but he's up on his feet and jogging toward the West Brunswick sideline. Jay, 4th and about 4 from the 24. You're going for this, right?
Yeah, you are, and chances are they're going to run. You know, when they run the ball as much as they do, particularly when you got a fairly sizable lead, 21-point lead now, clock continues to run, right?
Yeah, with a 21-point lead and 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter, the clock has become a factor as McDowell fakes the handoff. Oh, he throws it to McCray, who can't quite haul it in, and West Brunswick turns it over on downs with 2:28 left here in the third quarter.
Still a well-designed play. McDowell executed, pass a little to the rear of McCray. McCray made a good effort, just not able to bring it in, but that's the benefit of being able to run the football as well as they do. It allows them to throw, and it looks like to me that they're getting McDowell more out and letting him roll and evade that pressure and be able to find a back out of the backfield or one of his receivers downfield.
As Socastee's going to take over here. Brandon Worley late getting onto the field, running out to his right defensive end position as Illing prepares to take the snap.
Good to see.
The snap is here. Handoff up the middle, and a nice play there. Can't quite tell who that was in on the tackle. 44. Yeah, Russ Gore made a nice play to trip up the ball carrier and prevent a bigger gain.
You know, Gore he's a blue-collar player, hard-nosed, excellent blocker. He's stronger than last year, according to Kelly Williamson. He was second-team all-conference, and this kid's on the field quite a bit.
Jay, I just got word that number 6 for Socastee, Hudson Cook, was ejected from the game when those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties were thrown earlier near the goal line of Socastee. Number 6, Hudson Cook, has been ejected from the game, just to let our viewers know. And Jay, on a totally unrelated note, I don't want to speak for you, but I do think you echo these sentiments. I'd like to personally thank Aaron Varnum and Mr. Nate Evers of ATMC TV for giving us this opportunity. We've talked a lot about what a great opportunity this is to showcase our young people in our community, and none of it would be possible without the work of Aaron and Nate. So we're certainly grateful for all their hard work.
Well, the truth is, Sam, and I echo your comments, but the truth is, whatever people are seeing at home, the finished product is really whatever Aaron and Nathan are able to do.
Sure.
You know, what we do is the easy part.
That's right.
But cobbling it all together, doing the editing, making it work, that's the beauty of those guys working behind the scenes in production. And Nathan and Aaron do a supreme job, and we are very thankful.
Yeah, Jay, if Nathan and Aaron can make us look good, they're really good at what they do.
That's like magic.
Ealing rolls out to his left. He's got no running room, and he's tackled out of bounds by, that's number 21, Tony Williams. But a good game for Ealing, and nothing was there, so he took off running to his left and got to his own 44-yard line, where Socastee will have
probably close to a first
looks
down.
like about a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 situation.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Ealing out there, because when rain hit him, he wasn't feeling too well, but has seemed to have shaken that off and moving around pretty good.
Ealing takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. Socastee ball carrier brought down about the Braves' own 48-yard line. He will have enough for a first down. So with 46 seconds left here in the third quarter, West Brunswick maintains its 35-14 lead over the visiting Socastee Braves from South Carolina. Socastee coming off a 2-9 season last year. West Brunswick was 5-7 in 2015 and lost in the first round of the state playoffs to a powerhouse Terry Sanford squad. And Jay, it looks like they're going to get a holding penalty on number 15 out on the edge. So Socastee once again going to be behind the chains here.
Well, if that's a holding penalty against Socastee, Coach Doug Ealing is not going to be too happy.
It is, in fact, going to be a holding penalty on Socastee. That was number 15 for Socastee out on the edge. Looks like Ryan Pizzolo. Mr. Pizzolo sounds like he owns an Italian restaurant.
If he doesn't, he should.
Absolutely.
That's the right name for it, for sure. Yeah, but that's a tough penalty for Socastee, because they had received the ball, had made positive yards, and they're going to wipe it all off for a hold that probably wasn't going to do anything.
And Jay, we really liked what we saw last night out of Socastee, and the first they finished out their drive, the first possession after the resumption. They looked strong, and it's like ever since then this hasn't been the same team.
Fumble.
Right.
Fumble.
Turnovers will do it every time.
West gave them one back, but West has been able to withstand that.
Ealing gets rid of the pass over the middle of the field, and it's behind the intended receiver, number 2, Aeneas Green.
The reason why Easton Simmons, number 81, applied pressure to Ealing. The best defensive pass protection is a good rush.
Absolutely.
And if you quarterback has somebody looking at their face when they're throwing the ball, it's tough to be accurate.
And Jay, this before last night, we wouldn't have considered Easton Simmons one of the household names on this team, but we've called his name a lot as West Brunswick whistled for yet another offsides penalty.
Offsides penalty on West Brunswick.
Well, now, folks, that's number 46, Javier McCrae. Remember that name. Why? Because he's 6'3", about 250, and he's in the 9th grade. Ninth grade. Ninth.
Yeah, as in freshman.
As in freshman, right? So, bright future for this guy. I know the coaches are very excited about what he's shown so far in the practices.
And Jay, I've had the luxury of watching Javian compete in football and basketball for about 5 years now. And boy, is he a sight to see running up and down the basketball court. He moves like a guard, and he's much bigger than anyone else on the court. I understand why the coaches are excited about young Javier McCrae.
Bright future. Looks like Saugastee's going to let the clock run out for the third quarter.
It does. And after 3 quarters complete here at M.H. Rourke Stadium in the season opener, West Brunswick 35, Socastee 14.
More is better. And when you build your own bundle with high-speed internet from ATMC, you get more of what you love. More sharing, more streaming, more blasting, more dancing, more freedom. And more speed from ATMC means you can do it all at once without missing a beat. Build your own bundle with high-speed internet up to 200 meg digital cable and reliable home phone from ATMC. You choose, you save with ATMC.
When my husband leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside, but we feel safer inside knowing our home is protected by ATMC security. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to ATMC Security and get 24/7 home security monitoring for as low as $17.95 per month. Call ATMC Security now to schedule your free on-site consultation.
And we're back here at M.H. Rourke Stadium. West Brunswick clinging to a 21-point lead as we open the fourth quarter against the visiting Socastee Braves. Illing takes the snap on third and about 3.5 here. The ball carrier is stood up. That's number 44, Russ Gore, met the ball carrier in the hole, and Gore won that battle, Jay.
Hitman, Russ Gore.
Assisted by number 6.
Again, Williamson said this is a hard-nosed kid. And for Kelly to say that, he must really have a hard nose, okay, because Kelly likes those aggressive kind of players, Russ Gore being one of them.
Well, Socastee lining up to go for it here, and really no other choice, Jay, trailing by 3 touchdowns with under 11.5 minutes left in this ball game. Fourth and it looks like about 3 yards from here as Illing gets the play from the sidelines and waits for the snap. Illing gets the snap. He hands it off up the middle. Tucker's going to have plenty enough for the first down and a little bit more as he's brought down by number 6, it looked like, for West Brunswick.
That's a Jones Bay guy again.
Yeah, Jones Bay with a nice tackle, Jay, because Tucker had made his way into the secondary, and if Jones Bay doesn't make that tackle, he may run for a while. Illing throws the pass, and Tony Williams is right there to make a play. Oh, that's 23. Correction on that. That was number 23, Noah Johnson, who made that play. Excuse me. Initially looked like Tony Williams. I apologize. That was Noah Johnson on that tackle.
It's tough to keep those numbers straight, particularly for Socastee. They've got those gold numbers, and they're tough to pick out. West doing a nice adjustment on that little quick out pass.
Socastee once again tried to get West Brunswick to jump on the hard count. A little bit better discipline that time by West Brunswick to stay out of the neutral zone there. Illing takes the snap. He fakes to his right, throws out to his left, and it's just ahead of Tucker, the wideout. So Socastee will face a daunting 3rd and 12 here. Jay, we talked about this a lot last night. Illing just sat in the pocket as long as he wanted to last night while he was trying to find an open receiver. I expect in this situation right here for West Brunswick to bring a little pressure, to try to speed up Illing a little bit.
Bring the house. Bring the house, like we were saying before. The best defensive coverage is a good rush, so look for the big guys up front to make penetration and put some heat on Hunter Illing.
That pass is knocked down. It looked like there were 2 Socastee receivers who ran a route to the similar location there, so that was knocked down. Jay, that short pass maybe looked like Socastee was trying to get a chunk of the yardage back there to make it a more manageable 4th down.
Yeah, and which wouldn't be a bad idea, but the pass was not, Malachi McClendon wasn't able to bring in that throw, so it sets up a 4th down situation, and Doug Illing's going to go for it.
10-13 left in the fourth quarter here. West Brunswick 35, Socastee 14. West Brunswick in the middle of the third quarter had a chance to probably put the game away, but Cason Medford was stripped after a long, probably 20-25 yard run. So Socastee still hanging around. That pass is thrown out, and it's caught. And the receiver drags some West Brunswick defenders all the way down to the West Brunswick 19-yard line. So, Jay, we still got a game here.
Nice catch by Dashawn Myers, and an excellent throw that time by Illing. In the first half, we saw him zip the ball. That time he showed some great touch, just lofting it over the secondary of West and allowed Myers to make the catch.
Tucker carries the ball. He's still on his feet, and he's going to score. Tucker bounces off a couple of would-be West Brunswick tacklers, and Socastee scores the touchdown with 9:51 left in the fourth quarter. West Brunswick still leads 35-20. A converted extra point here would make it 35-21. So it is a two-possession game, and 9:51 left, Jay. you know, you get the sense that West Brunswick has dominated this game tonight, but Socastee still hanging around.
That's Ed Tucker's third touchdown of the night for Socastee. 5'11" junior running back having a real good effort for the Braves here tonight.
And Jay, Socastee will line up for a 2-point conversion. So if they convert this, we got a 13-point game all of a sudden, 35-22. We'll see as Illing prepares to take the snap. Jay, Tucker does convert the 2-pointer, but it looks like there was some motion before the snap there. I think they may have to retry this unless it was on West Brunswick. We'll wait on the call from the official. It was illegal procedure on Socastee, so we'll take those 2 points off the board, and Socastee will have to retry from the 8-yard line.
And those are important 2 points in this contest. Difference between it 35-20 and 35-22 is significant.
And Jay, if it's 35-20, that forces Socastee, if it were to come back, to at least convert one 2-point conversion and make an extra point to tie the game.
Which is not easy to do, and it almost means they might have to score 3 separate times, and that'll be tough.
And Jay, I get the sense, although Socastee's only scored 20 points, you know, a nice job by the West Brunswick defense not to bend but not break. However, you get the sense if Socastee's to come back, they're going to have to find a way to make some stops against this vaunted West Brunswick rushing attack.
Well, the big play on this drive was that pass from Illing on 4th down to Myers. And again, credit both those kids for making good play, particularly Illing, showing some good touch on his throw. And then Tucker ran the ball right up the middle, not even hardly touched for the touchdown. Let's see what West can do to prevent this 2-point conversion.
Illing takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He takes off up the middle, and it's going to be close. He was brought down just in front of the goal line, and it's good. Illing does cross the goal line. The referee, it was a delayed call, but he did convert, and so West Brunswick leads 35-22 with 9:51 left here in the 4th quarter. And since it's about that time, we can start at least thinking about our Halloween decorations. Let's give a little plug to the Grissettown and Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail. Can you survive the Grissettown Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail? You'll go in, but the question is, will you come out? Admission is $10 per person for all ages, but your children under 5 are free. The Haunted Trail opens at 7 p.m. every Friday and Saturday of October, plus Halloween night. The Haunted Trail is located at 758 Longwood Road in Ocean Isle Beach. For more information, contact 287-3030 or visit www.grissettownfire.com.
So is Huck Hickman going to go to this year?
Huck Hickman will probably never go to this haunted trail. Not because it's not well done, but because it was a little scary for me, much less a little kid.
Don't lie about it. Huck Hickman's not going to go because Maggie Hickman said he's not.
That too.
Let's just get right to it, okay?
That too.
You know? I'm telling you, folks, it's too bad we can't flash a picture of Huck up here on your screen, because that is one good-looking guy, despite coming from my play-by-play partner, right? I've never met Maggie. She must be beautiful to overcome you and make Huck so handsome.
Yeah, I told
what do you have to say?
I told my dad that he had really good genes, and my dad said, "You must be talking about the pants." As Socastee prepares to kick off here, West Brunswick still has a 13-point lead, 9:51 left in the 4th quarter. If nothing else here on this offensive drive from the Trojans, they probably need to gather some first downs to at least trim a few minutes off the clock,
No
Jay.
onside here, is it?
Well, it was a squib-type kick that was fielded by McCray, one-handed, made a nice catch. He runs around the left side.
Needs a block.
He's got a little crease. McCray across his 40, across his 45, and he's ran out about his own 45-yard line. Jay, that could have been close to a late hit there on our sideline.
Very close, which would have added another 15 yards to it, but nice run by McCray.
And, Jay, I don't want to overstate McCray's ability, but literally every time he touches it, something special could happen.
Yeah. Well, he's got that special knack, and Thomas, I think, does too. that when the ball is in their hands, you can go all the way. They've got that capability.
About a 3-yard gain up the middle by McCray.
Bring up 2nd and 6.
You know, McCray really hasn't touched the ball much here in the second half. Has had a few runs, of course, particularly the one that they had to call back because of the holding penalty. But he should be pretty fresh and feeling pretty good out there.
McCray did have the long touchdown scamper up the middle.
Nice time for a long, sustained drive to get points on the board and take time off the clock.
Tariq Thomas on the speed sweep, goes around the right side, makes a cut up the middle, and almost gets to the first down marker. Wow, what a run by Thomas, Jay. Looked like he had no running room, and all of a sudden he's cutting up the field for about 7 yards.
Well, you know, the good ones can do that. And I'll tell you what, if you were questioning how tough Mr. Thomas is, you saw right there when Peyton Jones really cracked him good, and Thomas popped back up like like a jack-in-the-box. No problem for Tariq.
Jay, I want to ask you something about clock management right after this play as McDowell is set to take the snap. He hands it off to McCray, and McCray's brought down. He's going to be short of the first down marker. I don't think he made it back to the line of scrimmage. And obviously this fourth down play coming up is the most important of the game so far for West Brunswick. But Jay, with 8 minutes left and you're holding on to a 13-point lead, do you start thinking about taking a little more time in between snaps? Is it too early to worry about the clock? What's your take on that?
I don't think it's ever too early to worry about the clock. That's my opinion. And, you know, by virtue of the kind of offense that West runs, they're going to take time off the clock simply because they don't throw the ball that much.
A timeout is going to stop play at 7:51. Head coach Kelly Williamson ran down the sideline and called a timeout. Jay, I was speaking with one of the West Brunswick coaches earlier this week, and it is now a rule that only the head coach can speak to referees on the sideline. And if an assistant coach does question a call to a referee, it's an automatic 15-yard penalty on that team. And if it happens twice, the head coach is ejected, I was told. So Kelly Williamson called for that timeout there. And Jay, you get the sense that this play right here may decide the game. You know, if Socastee can make a stop and then go score, we got a one-possession game with 5 or 6 minutes left. If West Brunswick converts, you know, they get a fresh set of downs. There's 7:51 left. They could trim at least another minute or two off the clock, and it'll make the comeback task more difficult for Socastee.
So you're so very right the way you set that up, Sam. A fourth and about a long 2. Big play here, and maybe one of the reasons why Kelly called the timeout, to make sure they had the right set up in there, the right play called, and make sure the kids understand the importance, particularly that offensive line, the big guys up front.
Jay,
Mercer, Monty Stanley, big guys got to fire off that line this time, fire off the ball and get penetration into the Socastee defensive line.
Jay, I spoke to offensive coordinator TJ Spivey for West Brunswick before the game, and he stressed the importance of getting a plethora of players carries, and you get the sense on a 4th and 2 like this with the defense keying in on McCray. I would not be surprised to see a handoff to Thomas, you know, with the defense gearing in on McCray. But it is going to be McCray up the middle. He runs and he bulls his way for a first down, and it shows how much I know, partner.
No, actually what you were talking about was not a bad strategy, but the truth of the matter is you dance with who you bring to the dance. West brings Bubba.
That's
it's
right.
Bubba time when you need it, and you know, Mr. McCray does an outstanding job. Anthony McCray, 5'9" senior, $187, 1,000 yards as a sophomore, 900 yards as a junior, and he missed the first half of the season, and he's certainly off to a terrific start here in his senior year.
McDowell takes the snap. It's going to be McCray again. He's got running room up the middle, and he just plows his way for another 7 yards. What an impressive display by Bubba McCray here early in 2016.
Well, some good fire off the ball by the right side of that West Brunswick line, and something that you had talked about earlier in this contest, the importance of a running back to fall forward. Because when you fall forward, you can pick up an additional half, maybe even a whole yard.
And those yards add up.
North-south running is very, very important, and particularly when you need it in those short yardage situations.
McCray is stuffed as soon as he gets the ball brought down just at the line of scrimmage. He may have fallen for about a half yard, but it's going to be a 3rd and 3 here for West Brunswick.
A nice tackle by Socastee's number 70, C.J. Armstrong, 5'10", 260, 10th grade. You like these youngsters that get in and show the ability to play at a high level in varsity football.
West Brunswick overloaded on the left side. They hand off to McCray. McCray's brought down, and he's going to be short of the marker.
Marvin Bryant in on the stop for Socastee that time.
Socastee sideline upset with the officials on that play for not calling a late hit penalty on Malik King, who was blocking about 15 yards downfield. And a Socastee player having to be separated from a referee. But that takes attention away from the fact that we've got another 4th and about 1.5 yards. We got 5:40 left in the 4th quarter. West Brunswick leads 35-22. A big 4th down here. McDowell hands off to McCray, who is stuffed in the backfield. And Socastee comes up with a big stop.
Let me tell you, Sam, that stop, 2 stops in a row by number 20, Marvin Bryant, 6'1", 146-pound freshman, 9th grader. One of these days, a long time from now, Marvin's going to tell his grandchildren, yeah, I stopped Bubba. I stopped Bubba McCray.
And Jay, we got 5:32 left here in the 4th quarter. Socastee's offense has done a nice job moving the ball against this West Brunswick defense. We got a ball game here.
Well, I think they're going to have to throw a little more on this series. West did manage to take 2-3 minutes off the clock on that possession, but would have loved to have made that first down to keep that clock rolling.
Illing in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, throws it, pass is completed. And the receiver is brought down past the first down chains. That'll be a first down for Socastee. And Socastee in business here, 1st and 10 at their own 49.
Devin Stamp with the reception. And again, in high school football, the clock stops when you make a first down.
Handoff up the middle, a good gain. Is that Tucker on the run? And he picks up about 4 yards, 3 or 4 yards there. A late flag has come in, Jay, at the end of that play. Let's see what that one is.
I think both teams getting a little chippy out there.
It's going to be a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, and that's going to give Socastee 15 yards in addition to the 4 or 5 yards on the run.
And Coach Williamson is several yards on the field trying to figure out what in the world is going on.
It looks like that was called on number 45, Brandon Worley there. So Socastee's going to have a 1st and 10 at the West Brunswick 34-yard line. We've got 5:10 left in the 4th quarter. West Brunswick 35, Socastee 22. And Socastee has covered about 30 yards in 2 snaps here. So this West Brunswick defense needs a key stop. Tucker on the handoff. He's got running room over the left side. Cuts back to the middle of the field, and he's brought down at about the West Brunswick 23 for another first down.
Tackled that time by Tim Sellers. But right now, this momentum has really shifted over to the Braves of Socastee High School. Somebody's got to make a big play for West Brunswick.
Worley makes a great play out on the edge. Looks like Tucker had running room, but Worley grabbed on by his jersey by the shoulder pad and slung him to the ground.
So do you think that might be coaching because Williamson brought him out after he got picked up the penalty, and the next play he goes in and he makes an outstanding play? So Brandon Worley with a big stop.
West Brunswick is going to have to make a key stop here. Still plenty of time, 4 minutes and about 15 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Socastee trails by 13, but in business deep into West Brunswick territory as Illing takes the snap. He's going to be brought down for a sack, and a big-time sack by West Brunswick.
And who was
I'm trying to see a number there.
Who is the Kareem?
Let me guess. 62, Taverine.
Yeah,
Looks like he was in on that sack as Socastee calls for a timeout with exactly 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Another Kareem by Taverine. Also had some help from Jimmy Cochran, who's done a nice job from that defensive secondary tonight. There's a kid that likes to hit.
And Jay, we talked about Taverine's favorite food earlier being everything. It looks like he's enjoyed several of those cheeseburgers from the Doghouse 2, a local staple for more than 20 years. The Doghouse 2 is under new ownership and is completely remodeled. The Doghouse 2 is your new home for breakfast and lunch and has an amazing new menu serving delicious Angus burgers, boar's head meats, and gourmet coffee. But don't worry, you Doghouse fans, all your old favorites are still there. The Doghouse 2, apparently you can teach an old dog new tricks.
I'm telling you what, Mr. Vereen, I don't know where he visits for his meals, but wherever it is, he's doing a good job. He's really come up big here a couple of times this evening with pressure on the quarterback.
Jay, do you get the sense here where West Brunswick's had two great defensive plays that they're going to have to win it right here on this 3rd and long situation?
Well, it would help to make another one of those big stops.
Pressure coming off the edge. A screen is thrown back, and Socastee's got running room. But he is brought down. It looks like he may have enough for a first down, but Socastee had the perfect play call. With West Brunswick bringing pressure, they just flipped the screen in behind the defense and had running room.
Well, that was a really fine call by Doug Illing and his offensive coordinator, his staff, because the pressure was coming, so they called the screen and come real close to picking up the first down, 4th and short.
Jay, it looks like it's 4th and less than a yard here. I expect Tucker to get a handoff up the middle here, but a whistle is going to stop play. Official measurement. Looks like the referee's asking to put 6 more seconds on the clock. Not 35 minutes, but 3 minutes and 50 seconds here.
You know, Sam, we were talking about the wonderful job that Aaron and Nathan do behind the scenes, but you know, all these schools have guys that work in this press box that, you know, run the scoreboard, do the PA announcing, and really make it all fun, a real important part of high school football.
Tucker gets the handoff, and Tucker's going to be stopped short. Tucker's going to be stopped short by number 41, Jimmy Cochran. What a stop by the Trojans at number 41, Jimmy Cochran.
We talked about the need for some big plays, and on that possession, West Brunswick came up with 2 big plays. Cochran involved in both. Vereen with the sack. Cochran was helping, and Cochran takes down their ball carrier to stop the possession and turn the ball back over to West.
And Jay, if West Brunswick holds on to win this game, you can remember that defensive stop right there. A 4th and short with their backs against their own goal line, and Jimmy Cochran comes in and lays a big hit on Tucker, even knocking his helmet off, and West Brunswick takes over possession with 3:37 left in the fourth quarter. West Brunswick 35, Socastee 22. As the handoff goes up to McCray, McCray's got room. He's at the 50, the 40. Socastee defenders trailing, the 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown, McCray. And boy, 3 minutes, 26 seconds left in the game, and Anthony McCray may have just slammed the door on the Socastee comeback attempt. Wow, Jay, how did he outrun those defenders?
Oh, because he can run. That's an understatement of the year, right? Bubblicious can run. And anytime McCray gets the ball from any place on the field, he is a threat to do what you just saw that time go 85 yards and was running away from the defensive secondary. What an outstanding effort by Bubba McCray.
Number 80, Terrence Claraday.
Terrence Claraday in to kick the extra point. Left-footed kicker, that'll be Jake Baylor on the snap. McDowell gets the hold down, and Claraday kicks it into the back of a West Brunswick blocker. So the extra point is no good, but West Brunswick leads 41-22.
Brunswick 41.
And Jay, how quickly things can change in this sport. Socastee's driving down the field. West Brunswick gets an unsportsmanlike penalty. Socastee had just made a big 4th down stop. Socastee moves the ball fairly easily down the field. West Brunswick comes up with a big sack by Vereen, a huge stop on 4th down by Jimmy Cochran, and then one play, Anthony McCray to the house.
To the house goes Bubba McCray, and you're right. That's one of the great things about football, how, you know, one play here, one play there, momentum can shift very quickly, and you certainly saw it that time with West coming up with a big defensive stop and then West coming up with the big offensive play to maybe put this one away. 41-22 with 3:26 to go. Of course, anything can happen. We've just seen it in the last 60 seconds. But first things first, the special teams is going to need to make a good coverage effort on this particular kickoff. You don't want to have Socastee turn around and run the ball back all the way for a score.
And Jay, I can't help but notice big number 77 for West Brunswick on the sidelines, Monty Stanley. He was just speaking on the sidelines with equipment manager Yogi Hickman, who's also doubles as my father, and he absolutely dwarfs my dad, who's not a tiny guy, but Monty Stanley at 6'5", 310 is just a giant down there.
That's a big boy.
Kickoff rolls all the way down to the 6-yard line. Socastee struggles to pick it up, and the ball carrier is going to be dropped at about the 10. Great coverage there by West Brunswick, and a wonderful kick by Brandon Worley there, who landed it in front of the returner, and it bounced down to the 6 or 5 before picking it up.
And good coverage by the sophomore Julian Legrand, 5'7", $140. Got down the field quick, wrapped up the returner, and puts Socastee in not so good field position at about the 11-yard line. They got to go 89 yards with not much time, and they got to do it 3 times.
And Jay, you know, we expected this from Bubba McCray, Tariq Thomas, Tay Vereen, but a lot of guys have contributed, you know, last night and tonight for West Brunswick. Guys like LeGrand, guys like Jimmy Cochran, guys like Easton Simmons. You know, pretty well-rounded effort from West Brunswick.
I think Coach Williams has got to be real happy with the performance here tonight.
There's pressure in the backfield. Illing chunks it out of bounds, and
Pass is incomplete.
it is going to be intentional grounding, Jay. And if that was from the end zone, I believe that's a safety. We'll see what the call is. It is going to be. No, that wasn't. I think that was illegal man downfield that he signaled, not intentional grounding.
On the play.
Good pressure that time by 61 Tim Sellers. That forced Illing out of the pocket and forced him to literally throw the ball away.
Still waiting on the signal from the referee and to see if West Brunswick will accept that penalty. I'm assuming they will, because that would push Socastee back to about the 5 or 6 yard line.
Tariq was talking, and
it is a safety. Okay. It is a safety. I think he signaled either intentional grounding and Illing threw the ball from his own end zone, resulting in a safety. So that'll make the score West Brunswick 43-22. And West Brunswick will gain possession, as Socastee will have to have a free kick here from about its own 20 or 30 yard line. So West Brunswick will get possession back with a 21-point lead. And Jay, with 3:12 left and West Brunswick about to get possession back, I think you can put the nail in this one.
Pretty darn close. I would expect West to come out and continue to run the ball, and if Bubba breaks one, or if Tariq breaks one, or DeMonte Daniels breaks one, if Tony Williams breaks one, if Malik breaks one, I mean, I guess that could happen, right? But fact is, they don't turn the ball over, and they play smart here for the last 3 minutes and 12 seconds. They're going to walk out of here with victory number 1 for the 2016 football season.
So we got 3:12 left in this one. West Brunswick 43, Socastee 22 on your ATMC Game of the Week. And as we've mentioned, none of this would be possible without ATMC celebrating over 60 years of service. ATMC is your local provider for telephone, internet, digital cable, wireless, and home security. ATMC, a local company with local priorities. Contact ATMC today at 910-755 8206, or check them out on the web at atmc.com. Now, Jay, we've got 3 minutes left in this one. Tell me, this is the season opener, Jay. You can expect, some of the penalties, a little sloppiness. But overall, I think a pretty strong effort from the Trojans.
Well, actually, I think they've done really well. And you're right, minimum of mistakes, a few, but, that's going to happen. I like the resilience because every time Socastee kind of knocked them, they got right back off the mat.
That kick is going to sail over McCray's head. He probably just needs to make sure he picks this one up. He does about his own 11-yard line. He runs into a host of tacklers. So Socastee at least does a nice job turning the field around.
Bubba's just taking time off the clock.
Yeah, sure. And Jay, on those free kicks, you can expect pretty good field position for the receiving team. But the Socastee kicker boomed one much further than he has any other kick this game.
Yeah, he nailed that. Usually when you have safety situations, the team that's going to kick punts.
They do.
But certainly showed some confidence as Doug Illing did that time in his place kicker, and he really hit that ball well.
Number 2, Dylan Bubba Jeffries.
And Dylan Little Bubba Jeffries into the game at quarterback for West Brunswick. Coach Kelly Williamson wanting to get the young kid a little bit of experience, and that ball's on the ground. They fumble the exchange, and Socastee picks up. And it is recovered by Socastee, and they'll take over 1st and 10 at the Trojans' 18-yard line.
That's the risk you want. That's the risk you run. Now, in the first half, when McDowell got hurt, he had to come out and get his arm wrapped up. Jeffries came in, executed the snap perfectly, the handoff, and it resulted in a score. This time, not so lucky, and things that you take for granted are sometimes the things that come back to haunt you. So that's something that Dylan will be working on in practice. And Jay, still got 3 minutes, Sam.
Jay,
off the ledge here.
I'm certainly not going to not one to second guess Kelly Williamson, highly decorated, highly successful high school football coach. And you want to get Jeffrey some snaps, but it's still only a 21-point game. As Socastee lofts the ball into the end zone and is broken up at the last minute by 21 Tony Williams, it looks like, in the far corner there by the front left pylon.
Well, let me tell you, that's about as good of coverage as you're going to see in the defensive secondary that time by Tony Williams. Really good play. Turned around, didn't do the face mask, saw the ball, created the diversion, if you will, and prevented that pass from being completed.
We would like to remind our viewers that West Brunswick will hit the road next week for its first road contest on the road to Tabor City, where they will visit the South Columbus Stallions. That'll be followed by another road game September 2nd at North Myrtle Beach, as Socastee's pass falls incomplete and will force a 3rd and 10. And then September 9th, the Friday night after Labor Day, West Brunswick will return to M.H. Rourke Stadium in Charlotte, where they will host the Whiteville Wolfpack. And that will be followed by another home game September 16th against the North Brunswick High School Scorpions from Leland. But first things first, Jay, we got 2:51 left here in the fourth quarter. West Brunswick leads by 21. Socastee 3rd and 10 from the West Brunswick 19. Illing drops back to pass, fires it back. Receiver's got running room. He stretches out for the pylon, but he's knocked out of bounds just shy at about the 2-yard line.
Pass is complete.
Well, 2 times they've run that screen. 2 times tonight they've had good success. Not able to get into the end zone with it, but got right down by the pylon. Saying we have a luxury here because of the 2 days to play this game. Ordinarily, we wouldn't know that. I believe North defeated Whiteville on Friday night. And we'll see West against Whiteville and North High later this year in a couple of weeks.
Touchdown.
That's a touchdown, Socastee, as Socastee trims into the West Brunswick lead. That'll make it 43-28, the Trojans lead. And Jay, surprise, surprise, another flag on the field.
Let's see how this one shakes out. Another unsportsmanlike penalty, this time against Socastee, which is going to take off the touchdown and march them back.
Unless it was a dead ball penalty.
Oh.
If it was a live unsportsmanlike, the touchdown will not count.
Good point.
But let's see here.
Looks like they're walking it back, though.
Sportsman count. How are you supposed unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Socastee.
Well, they haven't put the points up yet.
A little confusion here from the referees. It's tough to see if that was a dead ball penalty or if that was a live ball and the touchdown doesn't count. But the ball is still placed at the 3-yard line, which leads me to believe that this will be the conversion attempt, and they'll mark off the 15 yards on the ensuing kickoff.
I think you're right, Sam.
Illing in the shotgun, 2 receivers out to his right. He lost a pass out to his right, and that sails well over the head of the intended receiver. So the conversion attempt is incomplete. And Jay, that was the 2-point conversion attempt. So the touchdown did stand. So with 2:36 left in the fourth quarter here at M.H. Rourke Stadium on your ATMC Game of the Week, we've got West Brunswick 43, Socastee 28, 2:36 left. Onside kick, partner?
Oh, absolutely. If they haven't practiced it, shame on them. They're going to get to practice it right now, real time.
So, Jay, while we're at it, another one of my football exploits, I was also a member of the hands team for 2 years.
Really?
I was scared to death to get hit, a terrible route runner, but my hands were pretty sure. But I was never kicked one in the game. I did knock one out of bounds my senior year, which was the prudent play.
There you go.
I couldn't quite get my hands on it, so I knocked it out of bounds. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, I think it's very neither here nor there, but it's good to know. So you were on the hands team?
I was on the hands team.
Wow.
And Jay, while we're on that point, you know, you get a lot of guys like we see the quarterback, number 10, Owen McDowell, on the hands team. You know, when you're on the hands team, your sole goal is to not let Socastee recover the onside kick here. If you have to knock it out of bounds or just fall on it, you're not trying to catch this and run with it. You just want to catch it, go to the ground, and have your teammates cover you up and retain possession. And Jay, another note here is because of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, Socastee will have to attempt this onside kick from its own 25-yard line.
Yeah, so even if they were fortunate enough to come up with the onside kick, they're still got to go a long way.
That's exactly right.
Well, and
the kick looks like it's going to go out of bounds just past midfield, and West Brunswick can elect to have Socastee kick it again, but I'm sure West Brunswick will elect to take over possession here with 2:36 left here in this ball game.
They're going to get good field position out in the middle of the field. Let's see who's coming in at quarterback. Is Jeffrey's going to get another shot?
It looks like he is, Jay, which is
very important to his confidence if Coach Kelly Williamson will allow him to do it. Kid knows that the last time down was not the way he's capable of playing. And you know, listen, let's be clear here. A lot of times the quarterbacks get a lot of credit and they get a lot of criticism, and sometimes neither are warranted. And
sure.
You don't know what happened on that particular play, but nice to see Williamson send the young sophomore back in to get some real game time reps.
Yeah, Jay, I do want to ask you, with 2:36 left in a 2-possession game, after Jeffries fumbled on the previous possession, do you consider putting McDowell back in to sew this one away? The one thing you can't do is fumble a snap or a handoff. Is that something that goes through your mind, or are you more concerned with getting Jeffries back out there on, you know, to finish this one out?
The teacher in me says get Jeffries back out there. You know, the football fan says get McDowell in the game.
Sure.
Right?
Good answer, partner.
And that's why I'm not a coach. that's why I never will be a coach, right? Because but Kelly's doing a couple of things here, building his team and building the young man's confidence, both very important.
That ball is handed off up the middle, and that's number 9, Cason Medford. And, Jay, speaking of rebuilding confidence, Medford had a huge chunk of yardage earlier but fumbled near the West Brunswick goal line, and really that fumble turned around this game as West Brunswick was threatening to put Socastee away. But after the Medford fumble, Socastee clawed back into it and had a chance to make it a 1-possession game here with 5 minutes left. So nice to see him get another carry and another one as they hand it off up the middle.
Medford's a tough guy, 5'9", $180, junior, fullback, outside linebacker.
And Jay,
he likes to take hits, you know.
Yeah, physical little runner, has done a nice job tonight. He has about 3 carries for about 40 yards total. So we're under the 2-minute mark here. West Brunswick 43, Socastee 28. I would like to quickly thank our sponsors for tonight's game: J.P. Russ & Sons, Community Finance of South Carolina, Fuzzy Peach and Shallotte, Guy C. Lee, the Grissettown Longwood Fire and Rescue Haunted Trail, the Doghouse 2, and of course, last but certainly not least, ATMC. As Jeffries on the quarterback sneak, and Little Bubba carries right up the middle as a whistle stops the clock, as Socastee has burned a timeout with 1:19 left, and West Brunswick clinging to a 15-point lead, 43-28. Jay, we've talked a lot about McCray and Malik King, Kason Medford, Tariq Thomas on the offensive side. What have you seen from the West Brunswick defense tonight?
Well, I've seen a lot of Taverine.
Sure.
For sure. Seen a lot of Jimmy Cochran. Saw a lot of Russ Gore. So the kids that, you kind of expected to step up here this particular season have certainly gotten off to a very good start tonight. A lot of pressure at times from the defensive line. Some pretty good pass protection. We saw a real nice play the last sequence from Tony Williams. So a lot of talent, getting experience, getting reps, getting confidence, and all that leads to success. And I think Kelly Williamson's got to be overall pretty happy with night 1 of the 2016 football year.
West Brunswick will have a 3rd and about 7 here with 1:19 left in Socastee territory as they hand it off. That's going to be Bryson Allen on the carry. On the buck sweep, he picks up a couple of yards. So the clock is trickling down to under a minute left to play in the season opener here, as Socastee has ran out of timeouts and cannot stop the clock. So West Brunswick will milk this play clock. And it looks like it's going to be a win in the season opener for the Trojans.
Yeah, sure enough. And Jeffries, important to take as much time off that clock as he possibly can before taking the snap, and that's exactly what he's doing. Very calm out there. Not looking like the guy who, mishandled the snap just a few plays ago.
And a busted play there, and Jeffries has put the ball on the ground yet again, and Socastee has recovered the fumble. But, this Dylan Jeffries, Jay, is a kid they like, and he's a big part of their future plans. So a shaky season opener, but plenty of time for Jeffries to right the ship. And I'm sure he'll learn a lot from his teammate, number 10, Owen McDowell, who did a fantastic job leading the offense tonight.
McDowell's not going to get a whole lot of credit out of this because he doesn't have big numbers. But you know what? Quarterbacks that come out, maintain possession, run the team, run the plays, provide leadership and confidence. And I think McDowell did that really well here this evening.
As Socastee, with just under 28 seconds left here, has a 1st and 10. Ealing fakes the handoff and completes it to about his own 43-yard line. And Jay, next week West Brunswick will travel about 35 miles away to Tabor City to take on South Columbus. And I know it'll be a special night for West Brunswick offensive coordinator TJ Spivey, who starred as a football and baseball player at South Columbus before going on to play collegiately at Appalachian State on the baseball diamond. And TJ still has a lot of connections in Tabor City. I know it's going to be a special night for him.
Well, they've had a good home opener, and now they'd like to get that win on the road next week. Easy, easy, easy.
Ealing is chased out of bounds there by, looked like that was number 23, Noah Johnson. Not the first time we've called his name tonight either. He made a nice play on the wide receiver screen on the near sideline earlier.
And West, the kids are obviously happy about the scoreboard, but you still got 14 seconds. Play the game out, and don't do any things that Coach Williamson's going to have to talk to you about after the game, like pushing a player out of bounds when you really like to keep him in bounds and keep that clock running.
That's right. 14 seconds left. Socastee with a 3rd and 6. Ealing looked like he wanted to take a deep shot there. He passes it up the seam, and it's dropped. It was juggled about 6 different times there on the far hash.
Tony Williams.
Looks like that is number 21, Tony Williams. And Jay, if he would have called that one, that was 6.
Yeah, for sure.
So 6 seconds left. Socastee has the ball on its own 40-yard line. It'll be about a 4th and 6. Jay, West Brunswick will move to 1-0. Socastee falls to 0-1. West Brunswick coming off a 5-7 year last year. Very important to start the season off with a victory, and they've done what they set out to do tonight.
Well, they got off to a pretty good start last year, if I remember correctly. It was the tail end of the year where they had some issues. But certainly nothing like a win.
Ealing drops back to pass. Oh.
And that's the smart play. Keep him in bounds.
He was kept in bounds.
And that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a first down, but the clock runs out, and West Brunswick holds on for a 43-28 victory over the visiting Socastee Braves from South Carolina. So the teams will line up and shake hands. Jay, as always, I enjoyed it. West Brunswick now 1-0. Socastee falls to 0-1. Next week, West Brunswick will travel to South Columbus to take on the South Columbus Stallions, and before hitting the road again to play North Myrtle Beach the following week, the Trojans will return home to Shallotte and M.H. Rourke Stadium September 9th to host the visiting Whiteville Wolfpack.
And so will ATMC, right?
We'll see you then.